All right, it sure is. Welcome, one and all. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Okay, we got a lot to cover. Oh, man, do we have a lot to cover. There was an Islamic terror attack in New York City, and they want to call it anything but. Here's the headline. Suspect arrested after allegedly yelling, Allahu Akbar, stabbing two men in New York. The incident happened near Central Park West, home to one of New York City's largest Jewish communities. All right, they got the lunatic. And, you know, this just is insanity to me because you look at this story, and Mamdani, of course, has talked about it. Let me go through this. This is Fox. A suspect is in custody after allegedly, I mean, come on, everybody heard it, yelling, Allahu Akbar. I thought it was Allah Akbar, but, you know, whatever. You say tomato, I say tomato. A suspect is in custody after allegedly yelling, Allahu Akbar, while stabbing two men in what officials are describing as an apparent anti-Semitic attack in Manhattan's Upper West Side Thursday afternoon. The New York City Police Department said one of the victims is Jewish, and that witnesses reported hearing the suspect yell, Allahu Akbar, during both assaults, which took place near West 84th Street and Central Park West, a large Jewish community. Investigators are evaluating whether the reported attack should be classified as a hate crime. You think? And identified the suspect as Raul Morales, age 51, in both assaults. According to the NYPD, the victims were stabbed in what appeared to be two separate attacks that happened near one another. And they show him in custody, and he's got these very small female police officers taking him into custody. A 57-year-old man was reportedly attacked near West 84th Street and Central Park West just after 1:30 p.m. Officials said officers found him conscious and alert with a stab wound to his back. He was taken to a local hospital in stable condition. You know, if you're a Jew in New York, I mean, I would leave. All right? Leave. It's not safe. Investigators later found a 50-year-old man nearby with a stab wound to his torso. He was also conscious and alert. He was taken to a hospital in stable condition. Initial NYPD findings suggest mental health may have been a factor. You know, that's an excuse, okay? Most people that are in prison, really probably all of them, for violent crimes, they're mentally ill. That doesn't excuse away what even the motivation was. While the perpetrator has no known mental health history with the NYPD, the initial investigation suggests that mental health may have been a factor, said the police commissioner. You know, this is the second terrorist attack we've had in the last few days, right? This, and then that Kamala Harris voter who firebombed the federal building where ICE is located. WABC reported that police are investigating whether the suspect used a knife or screwdriver during the alleged attack. Hours after the attack, New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani, who recently called on the federal government to arrest Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, said he had been briefed on what he described as horrifying stabbings and noted the victims were an Asian man and a Jewish man. Okay, so let me see here. This is what Zohran Mamdani says. I have been briefed. Oh, well, it's all solved then. He's been briefed. You can breathe a sigh of relief. Mamdani's been briefed. Why don't you brief us, right? What does wasn't it Allah Akbar? Now it's Allahu Akbar. Mamdani posted on X, I have been briefed on today's horrifying stabbings on the Upper West Side, where an Asian man and a Jewish man, notice he puts the Asian man first, right, were attacked, according to witnesses and victim statements. The perpetrator yelled, Allahu Akbar, during both attacks. I am relieved that both victims are in stable condition. The NYPD responded immediately and arrested Raul Morales in connection with both assaults, and I am grateful to the officers for their swift response. The NYPD's initial investigation suggests that mental health may have been a factor They're also evaluating those stabbings as potential hate crimes. These hateful and despicable attacks have no place in our city. Yes, our Muslim mayor, we're about 6-7 weeks away from the 25th anniversary of the Islamic terrorist attack of September 11th, and our Muslim mayor says he's been briefed. Okay, everything's under control. The mayor of New York City is an anti-Semite. He has said that the Prime Minister of Israel should be arrested, and he said a great many other things. And these Democrat Socialists of America, of which he is the leader of, it used to be Bernie Sanders, now it's Zohan, all right? The Democrat Socialist Commies of America are America's leading anti-Semitic hate group. There's no doubt about it. I mean, that is a fact. So you have the Democrat Socialist of America, led by Zohan Mamdani, the Muslim mayor of New York City, right? They want to arrest the prime minister. They're talking about Jewish control over the government. All of these things going on, okay? They're running around just saying god-awful things. The president's controlled by the Jews. Everything. I mean, the list goes on. I don't have to go through the list. You know the list because it's in the news every day. And then, well, let's do that during the break, Mike, because I got to ask you a question about it. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll get to the calls after the break. You know, I was talking the other day about how the left are instigating violence. Right? President Trump has had more assassination attempts against him than all of the other presidents combined, right? He's doing this White House Correspondents' Dinner thing. The threats are through the roof. There's a story today about that. And you have the entire Democrat Party blaming Jews for everything. So whose fault is it? Who's responsible for Well, the guy that did the stabbing is ultimately responsible. I get it. But the Democrats have been telling their people to go out and commit all kinds of mayhem and terrorism. Whether it's this guy that firebombed the federal building the other day, right? He was attacking these Nazis that the Democrats are always talking about at ICE. This guy here's out there yelling, Allahu Akbar. They've been talking about how the Jews are responsible for all the problems in our country, and there's this secret Jewish control center that's controlling President Trump. So, you know, there comes a point where this is, you know, they're going to excuse this away. The guy that firebombed the federal building the other day, I haven't seen any follow-up on that story. Have you? I haven't even seen a mugshot. Was he arraigned? I don't know. It's disappeared from there. And this will too, because it doesn't fit their narrative. I'm telling you, I've been saying this, we have an epidemic of left-wing political violence in America. That is the reality. And it's happening almost every single day. It's almost every single day. There's something. The firebombing, this, an illegal killing a family on the highway and just driving somewhere. It's continually growing and growing and growing. And, you know, this left-wing rhetoric that's going on is encouraging this kind of behavior, right? I mean, what if this guy would have said praise to Jesus when he did this? Do you think that they would say, oh, okay, let's disappear this story by the end of the morning? This story will probably, it's the lead headline this morning. It may not be the lead headline by 7, 8 a.m. this morning because it doesn't fit their name. They're a little excited that his last name is Morales. They're excited that, you know, Hispanic name, because if his name was, Mohammed something, so there is a little high-fiving going on that he's Hispanic, but he still said Allahu Akbar. All right, we've got a lot to cover on the program today. If you're on hold, stand by. It is Friday, which means it's open phones, Open MAGA Mike Friday. You're welcome to call in about any and everything on your mind, all right? The show prep is up to you and the audience. I've got a lot to cover on the program today, but as I said, you are welcome to call in about any and everything on your mind. The number is toll-free 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We'll take our break and be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action.
All right, there's got three things. The calls aren't showing up here on that program, so I don't know if they're going to be on the air. Okay, there we go. Okay, number two, is there another one of these?
Oh, no.
This is the one I brought from home. Now I can put my headphones down and use them. I couldn't find one. I went in the production room, I went in the other studio, I looked in here. There's usually one in here, but there's not. I can't find one anywhere. All right. And those headphones weren't working. I plugged them in. Oh, you found one? Awesome. I didn't go in his office. Maybe. I usually have an extra one with me in my backpack, and I just don't today. But I plugged those in when I came in, and they weren't working.
Hi, Tom Laporta here. We are Laporta Roofing, a family business since 1983. You are our customer. In other words, our boss. We are here for and because
I'll have to use my
of you,
headphones
not the
for
other
it.
way around. The 2026
So they pop on.
rainy season is upon us. Because we haven't had a hurricane in 2 years, all
They were
the
working
storm
yesterday?
roofing companies have
Unbelievable.
gone out of business,
Like 3 times.
leaving only the strongest and the best contractors.
And that jack?
At Laporta Roofing, we will never sell you a roof you don't need. We don't have sales.
I'll just use mine for now, because
so
I,
we will never pressure you to sign a contract.
Yeah,
Also,
someone's gonna do
deposits
that
are not required. At Laporta Roofing,
Blast.
always come first.
all right.
We must
Well,
earn your
just let's
trust,
do
and
it.
we will.
Plug it in, and if
So
it
call
pops on, it
myself
pops
at
on, but I'll use mine until then.
044602 or find us on the web.
Because everything's on the right.
That number again is 954-604-4602.
Let's just not have it full blast.
954-4602,
And I'll use mine until then.
It's Brian. Have you ever noticed that every morning I'm alert, wide awake, and well rested? That's thanks to Mike Lindell's
Yeah.
Pillow. With the My Pillow, I sleep comfortably and deeply each and every night. And right now, you can get the My Pillow for just $19.98 with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE at mypillow.com. Just $19.98, and you'll get the best night's sleep you've ever gotten. Promo code KANE, KANE at checkout
okay.
at mypillow.com.
We'll use-
You can also
just
order
use
by
this. I
phone
mean,
toll
it's
free
not the end of the world.
1-800-716-4879.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30
long
years
as
at the
there's a
same
workaround. We gotta
location
work
and
around,
offering
so
great
it's fine.
deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954
Okay, I just won't wear the headphones until it pops in.
977-9445. Thank you.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, welcome one and all. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. We are back on this Open MAGA Mike Friday, and I'll go to the phones. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Lisa from Boca.
All right, Lisa.
Good morning. I appreciate that you have your open mic. It's a quick comment. I did when they had the Dover transfer of the soldiers, and I saw that who was there with President Trump, and Melania was not there. Mm-hmm. And that really was, for me, I thought it was a deliberate decision to not go. There's no excuse. She could have been supportive of the commander-in-chief and what's good for our country and the sacrifices.
Well, I think you're being a little hard. I mean, we don't know why Melania wasn't there, but, I mean, she could have been having women's issues for all I know. She could have the flu. Yeah, you know, I mean, you know.
Brian, you see them all hobbling at 100 years old, and they go to France.
Say that again?
I think there is no excuse
for her not to be.
I don't think she would have gone. I think that was. Look, she goes to the FIFA soccer awards. She goes to fight night. That's not political. But when it comes to supporting her husband and supporting the country, I think there is no excuse for her not to show.
Okay. Yeah, whatever.
All right.
I mean, you know, what are you talking about supporting her husband? You know, the other side are trying to kill her husband all the time.
They do that to the soldiers. They try and kill police. They try and kill ICE and everything else.
Yes.
I'm not disagreeing that they're going after people. And there are some that, like Tina Peters, who winds up in jail because she stands up for what's
So hold
right.
on a second here. Let me get this straight. You're upset because you didn't see Melania at the dignified transfer.
Correct.
Really?
Correct.
Come on.
Yes.
Come on. You don't know what's going. There could be 1,000,001 reasons why she wasn't there that are legitimate.
I don't hear one from anybody, and I still say.
Well, I didn't even notice.
A support. You didn't notice because she shows up to practically nothing, which I understand. She lives her own life. But when it comes to something like that, her husband hears wailing people.
She goes to a lot of things. I see her at things all the time.
I know. She goes to Be Best and all the parties. I get it. But I
all
think
the parties.
Something like that.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Really?
After
everything the Trump family has gone through, she doesn't go to a dignified transfer, and you're really upset about it. And you don't know why she didn't go. Was she out shopping with her girlfriends or something?
Brian, please ask Kathy. She's supportive of you when you have things, and she'll call your show behind the scenes. She'll tell you about Mike Lindell as a sponsor. That's a supportive partner. I don't see, and I think if you ask your wife or you know
ask
yourself,
my wife.
and I know, yes, Kathy is
my wife
supportive.
Doesn't go to everything that I do.
I didn't say business things. I think if you had something in the family, just like you're supportive of her and your kid, she would be supportive.
No, in fact, there was a funeral with somebody in the immediate family that she couldn't go to for very good reasons.
Okay, she couldn't go, and I believe that. But I don't think that Melania is look, if there was something, you would somehow or another, I think he could have mentioned she would have been here if she could. I think if she just deliberately wants very little to do with what the country and being by
Did you see the movie? Did you see her movie?
I did not see.
You didn't see the Melania movie? Right. It's on Amazon. You watch that movie.
Okay.
You watch that movie. She's involved in everything he does. Everything.
Okay. All partners should be, to some extent, there's pillow talk. But you somehow or another find the way.
Okay.
Look, It's my opinion.
Well, okay. Well, you know what they
appreciate
say
the
about those.
conversation.
Okay, I appreciate the call. Oh, my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Out from Texas.
All right. What's up, Doc?
Hey, man, how you?
I am doing well.
Hey, I was laughing at the lady, your first caller just now, saying about
Why?
Melania.
Because somebody was saying something bad about Melania, so you got all giddy and excited?
No, I'm just saying, she didn't go. Maybe she wasn't feeling good. She just didn't want to go.
Yeah.
So, oh, well, it is what it is. So what I'm calling about this morning is the soldiers. Why did they take those four soldiers' names off the people that got killed?
Say that again?
It was reported by the New York Times that those four soldiers that got killed this weekend, names were taken off because they said they were killed after Trump had a call for a ceasefire.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't understand.
Okay.
The New York Times said their names were taken off of what? The ones from the dignified transfer that were killed?
The list, taken off the list. Research it. I'm not going to.
No. Okay, no. First off, the New York Times lies. Okay, that's
research it.
I'm not here to do. I don't have to do research.
Okay, that's
What do you
fine.
think? You think I'm going to
Okay.
research? You think I'm going to go down
Another
rabbit
thing.
hole? Excuse me. You think I'm going to go down?
Excuse me.
You know, I'll tell you this, Doc. I know what you're trying to do.
I'm not trying to do anything.
Oh yeah.
Make a statement.
Yeah. You're trying to get yourself banned by me from the program.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, that's
No,
why.
I'm not.
That's
I
why
just made a
you.
statement.
That's
I just
why
made a
you're so
statement.
condescending and talk like a child in the 4th grade. Like when you repeat
just-
what
I
I
just made a
said,
statement.
which really shows the
made a
maturity
statement,
level of the average liberal. No, there's a
made a
story.
statement.
There's a story that the liberal media made up that there were some other soldiers who were injured and or killed that are not being counted. That is BS.
That story is about the people that were killed, Brian. It's a story, Brian. It is.
What did they?
Brian,
What are they alleging they took their names off of?
They took the names off the list that were counted as people that were killed.
If they took their name off the list of people that were killed, why was the president at the dignified transfer with them?
They did it yesterday, Brian.
Whatever.
Okay, another thing. Okay, one more thing. What is going? Okay, would you cover the incident that happened in New York yesterday, which was horrible? If there was a MAGA mayor over there, no, you wouldn't have.
What are you talking about? If some guy was yelling Allah Akbar, you don't think I would talk about it?
You wouldn't talk about it if there was a MAGA mayor in New York.
Well,
You
no,
you wouldn't
there's
have. That crime happens every
excuse
day.
me, there were 19 hijackers yelling Allahu Akbar when there was a Republican mayor that knocked down those two buildings, and I talked about it.
Trump just made a deal with them the other day.
What with the 9/11 hijackers?
He's made a deal with Saudi Arabia, which was one of the sponsors of that.
No.
Yeah.
No,
true,
nothing.
Brian.
Nothing that you said was true.
Yes, it was. There it is.
In
Why
liberal
would you ban
land,
me? Why would
it's
you
true.
ban me from your show?
I'm not banning
really-
you.
Why?
I'm not
'Cause I
banning
called-
you, but you're trying to get yourself banned.
I'm not trying to get my ban. I'm not trying to. I really don't want to get banned because every day I promise you I'm not going to call your show. But every day
I know.
I say I have to call.
You have to call. I
Because
know. I'm
it's just-
addicting, like crack cocaine,
you
right?
are.
To Hunter Biden.
Why you had to say, but speaking of Hunter Biden, did you hear what he said when he talked to Don Lemon the other day? He said half of the Republican senators in Washington, D.C. are gay.
Okay,
Did you hear that story?
that's not a story.
Did you hear it?
That's called gossip.
Well, you gossip too.
No, I'm not gossiping.
Yeah,
I talk about
You say
news.
things. No, you say
I talk about things in the
okay.
news.
Okay. Well, you know what? I thought it was funny.
Why? What's funny
thought it was
about
funny.
that? What's
Because-
funny about being gay? What's wrong? Why would you laugh at people who are gay?
I'm not laughing because if
No,
you're
why?
gay,
I mean,
you're
you know,
gay.
as a liberal,
If you're gay, you're gay.
Hunter Biden's. I want you really to think about how juvenile Democrats are. You got Doc here on the
I'm
line.
not juvenile. I'm not juvenile.
Oh
Brian.
yeah.
If
yeah.
you're gay, you're gay.
You
That's
repeat
your
what I
personal
say, and you're like na
business.
na na na
That's like
na
Lindsey Graham.
na.
That's like
And
that's
now
like
you're
Lindsey
saying
Graham.
Now you're
I
saying
hated
Hunter.
Lindsey Graham couldn't.
If you don't
I hate
stop
Lindsey
interrupting me, I'm going to hang up.
I hated Lindsey Graham.
If you don't stop interrupting me, I'm going to hang up on you.
Can I talk?
When I'm done, you can't talk at the same time I'm speaking.
Well, go ahead, Brian.
So, you've got Doc here who's gotten into this new habit that you better break, because I'm not going to tolerate it after the weekend, okay? This na-na-na-na-na-na thing you're doing all the time, which is ridiculous. And now you have Hunter Biden calling people gay. The left, you were so juvenile in your thinking. But I don't understand why, as a liberal, you would think there was something negative with people being gay.
I did not.
If half of the Republicans are gay, isn't that a good thing as a liberal to you?
Fine. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is.
No, you said you thought it was funny. It made you laugh.
It's like poor Lindsey Graham. He had to live his life.
Lindsey Graham was not gay.
Yes, he was.
He was not gay.
It's a shame that he had to live his life like that.
No, he was not gay.
He come out and say he was gay.
Lindsey Graham dedicated his life. Excuse me. Lindsey Graham dedicated his life to raising his sister. That's why he didn't get married. He didn't want to bring the disruption of a woman into the family that is not the mother of his daughter.
It was totally fine. That was his business. He could not live his life because people like you would have destroyed him.
He was not gay. He wasn't gay.
He was. Yes, he was.
How do you know he was gay?
Brian, it's all over, bro.
All over where? All over where? Grindr? Get off the phone. I mean, enough. Enough. All right, listen. If you're on hold, stand by. I mean, I know it is Open Manga Mike Friday, open phones on Friday, but can you guys elevate the quality of your content? All right, let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig, back after this.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show.
Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig, back. People who are gay.
I'm not laughing because
No, I mean. There's no jack. Oh, different set. There's no jack for those in here.
Along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyourcooling.com to schedule.
I tried it with these headphones too. You can try it.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
We have a prescribed burn in Palm Beach County, I-95 northbound, just north of Indiantown Road at mile marker 88 in Jupiter. Use caution in that area. And vehicle crash in Palm Beach County, I-95 northbound, mile marker 66, Forestville Boulevard in West Palm Beach. There is a roadblock. Use caution. And a vehicle crash with injuries and a roadblock in Broward County, I-95 northbound, mile marker 39, Sample Road in Deerfield Beach. From the traffic center, I'm Ray Thomas.
Your traffic brought to you by PBKC. Freedom, fireworks, and high hands. It's all happening this July in the Poker Room at
Working perfectly fine yesterday.
Excitement never stops.
I checked it during the show.
Every day from 9 a.m. to midnight. Plus a $15,000 cash giveaway and $100,000 progressive weekends. Grab your friends for a $10 poker party Friday, July 3rd.
I don't know. I mean, last week it just popped on. Remember? I don't know. It's a little frustrating, but whatever.
There's one. Well, I was gonna do last week. I could. So you can still use your headphones. I know. No problem. I could put the mic in the green screen room.
It's too far away from the wireless mic, I think. It may not be, but I wouldn't be able to now. I got to have some control over that. I got to be able to hear the sound.
Makes sense.
It could be too loud. During the commercials, could blast it. Well, let's just leave it plugged in. Maybe it'll pop on again like it did last week. I know it's frustrating.
No matter where you are located in the United States, give them a call right now. 954-700-3776.
Did you take the turnpike
Yeah.
and it was shut down, part of it?
No, at least from when I was driving through it, but it was downpouring.
They had it blocked at Okeechobee. You had to get off.
Yeah, no.
They're doing some construction.
I think that was after.
No, they must have stopped right after I went through.
But I know that when it was downpouring, dude's in the fast lane. He's going 30, 40 miles an hour, and he has his hazards on. So I'm like, listen, I know it's raining, but like, at least get into the other lane. So I flash him twice, just like, hey, I want to get over. I go around, he starts flashing me for like a whole.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, but he's all the way behind, like he's far behind me.
You know, I find a lot of times early in the morning, there's a lot of people that are drunk and high on the road, and they're very paranoid, and they think you're cutting them off or doing something in the yes, that's a regular thing I encounter.
That would make
Early
sense.
mornings, yeah.
And it is Florida, so it
Yeah.
does fit.
There's lots of any lab test nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Alan, don't forget to pot the
Celebrating
music down.
49 years on the air.
Yeah, remember from the rejoin? All right, and we're back. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on this Open MAGA Mic, Open Phone Friday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hey, Brian. It's Joan from Tampa Bay.
Hey, Joan.
You know what? That lady with the dignified transfer, and I am a military family, okay? I looked up things with Obama for dignified transfer. Michelle wasn't standing there. So, there you go.
Well, remember when Biden was checking his watch?
Oh, yeah. Well, he needed, what's her name, Jill, because he needed a handler.
Yes,
But
exactly.
Trump doesn't need a handler.
You know, the thing about it is, that call, I would put that under petty disagreement. There could be 1,000,001 reasons that she didn't go that are all legit. I've never paid attention if the first ladies go to those things, or I don't really typically like to watch the dignified transfers too much. I mean, it's sad, you know.
My nephew. Well, I told you we're military. My nephew did that.
Oh, he was when he was in the service. He was at a dignified transfer.
Yes, he did that all the time.
Yeah, I know. It's sad. It's sad. And you know, President Trump's talked about the parents, how as soon as the planes take the caskets off, that the families just lose it like he's never seen before, because they're children. The one girl's 19, you know, and I wouldn't blame Melania for not going to that. The president has an obligation. The first lady doesn't. I mean, come on.
You never know. She might have the flu right now or something.
Exactly. Who knows? Or maybe she, you know, hurt her ankle and she doesn't want to stand there in high heels and can't for an hour. I don't know. There's all kinds of reasons.
Michelle was not there for those.
No, she was there. Jill was there for the diaper changes and the hold him up.
That's it. So, you know, tell the world, this man does not need a handler. He knows he's got his hand.
And
on
part
the
of it,
hand.
and I'll tell you, part of it was he went from the dignified transfer to the rally in Marietta, Georgia, and he took a couple, the parents of one of the service personnel went with him to the rally in Marietta, Georgia. So it could have been that she didn't want to go to the rally, so that's why she didn't go. There's all kinds of reasons. Who knows? People are petty.
I have a cold.
But that woman, contrary to everything she says, I don't think she was MAGA, or she would have seen Melania. She would have seen the movie.
Well, Melania also has the son, so maybe she had something she had to show up for Barron.
Who knows?
You don't know.
Who knows? It's
You
no
don't
big deal.
know.
It's not even an issue.
The man showed up. Pete showed up. I mean, all the important people showed up.
Exactly.
Period.
Exactly. The haters are going to hate. All right, Joan, appreciate the call. All right, you take care. Funny thing that has been happening with me the last 24 hours. People are, it's such an interesting thing how you are held accountable for everything that somebody does that you know. Like yesterday, people were calling about Mike Lindell, which, by the way, you're free to call me about Mike Lindell. I'll talk to you about it. But then Laura Loomer went to Ukraine. I knew she went to Ukraine. I knew she was over there. But I was a little surprised. I saw she had a sit-down one-on-one interview with Zelensky. So now today, I get all these DMs and messages and people commenting and saying, why is Laura Loomer interviewing Zelensky? I don't know. She probably is over there interviewing Zelensky for a couple of reasons. Number one, either the president asked her to, or the White House set it up. That's number one. And I watched Loomer's. I haven't seen the whole thing yet. I saw some of her Zelensky interview, and I watched a video of her. She went to a McDonald's in Kiev. Now, I'll tell you this. I am 100% against any U.S. involvement in that war. It's a civil war. We shouldn't have anything to do with it. I don't know why she... But she went to the McDonald's in Kiev and did a story on that, and that was kind of funny. But it looked to me that Loomer went to Ukraine. She's trying to, go mainstream with what she's doing. Loomer, she does her show. She's big on X, but there's not any money in that, and she's probably trying to monetize, which she should do. I mean, she's certainly entitled with all the work she does. She's probably trying to monetize her work in reporting and take it to another level so she can do that. And so what that she interviewed Zelensky? I don't support Zelensky. I don't support any U.S. involvement in that war. He is, in my view, he is a dictator because they have suspended elections in Ukraine until the war is over. So this war could go on for 50, 60 years, okay, and they'll never have an election. He has suspended freedom of press. He has put people in jail in the media over there who don't agree with him. He shut down churches over there so they don't have freedom of religion in Ukraine. We're not supporting democracy. We're supporting the opposite, the complete opposite of democracy. But I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting thing. People all the time, I've talked about this sometimes, people all the time ask me to do interviews on their podcast and things like this, and I don't do it. On occasion, I'll do it with someone who's like a really good friend of mine that I know. And I know you guys see me on Newsmax quite. I'm on Newsmax a lot. That's different. But I don't really do podcast interviews. People ask me quite often. And even people that are conservative they ask, and I don't do them. They ask me and I don't do them. And one of the reasons, they call it collaborations. One of the reasons I don't do... There's a couple of reasons I don't do interviews that much on other people's podcasts or YouTube channels or live streams on all kinds of platforms when people ask me is one is this right here, right? When you collaborate with someone in any way, shape, or form, all of a sudden you're completely responsible for everything they do for the rest of their lives. Remember back in the Twitter age when you had that liberal Twitter mob canceling everyone? If you retweeted a tweet from someone, they would hold you accountable for everything that person did for the rest of their life. So somebody has an article or a comment and you retweet it, right? And then they get arrested picking up a hooker in Tijuana, all of a sudden you're responsible for that. So people started putting on their Twitter profiles retweets, do not equal endorsements of this person. And there was even like a little symbol for that. And the same thing goes with interviews and collaborations. You know, it's like you're responsible for everything that person does because you're a guest on their radio show or podcast. You know, there's a friend of mine that I started out in radio with. There's a couple guys I started out with radio with that have radio shows in other parts of the country. And sometimes I will guest. I'll guest on their show, and they do morning shows, but they're in other time zones. So when I get off at 9, it's still like, you know, early in the morning for them. So sometimes I'll do like a phone thing, and they'll have me on to talk about conservative things. Oh my goodness. One of them, I don't want to say which one, but one of them, the program director came in and hung up the phone during the interview. Didn't even wait till commercial because of something I said about Trump. He got in all kinds of trouble because he was associated with me, you know, and so it works both ways. So, so all these people yesterday about Mike Lindell, today I wake up and my notifications on my phone are like going nuts, and it's all about, what do you have to say about Loomer sitting down with Zelensky? Okay, I mean, you know, if I went to if I were in Ukraine, I would not be interested in interviewing Zelensky. I'd want to talk to Pavlo in Ukraine. I haven't talked about Pavlo in Ukraine in a while. Pavlo in Ukraine is a young Ukrainian guy. The war's been going on so long, he's probably 30 or more now. But when the Ukraine war started, he was in his 20s, and he had this YouTube channel on Ukraine and the war with his bikini model girlfriend who doesn't speak English. And even still, what are we, 4 years into this war? And I've never seen any war with him, and I don't know why he hasn't been drafted. And he's got this. That would be who I'd want to talk to, Pavlo in Ukraine, not Zelensky. But I don't know why Laura Loomer's there. I do know this: that if Laura Loomer met with Zelensky, she had a very good reason. I do know that. Okay, and you know, it's not for clicks or views. She's already got all of that. She's got more of that than she can handle, you know. So she's not going over there for a publicity stunt like a Candace Owens kind of thing would do. But I don't know. I mean, you know, it's just the way it is. However, it is time for a break. And you know what? I got to talk about our cruise. You know, our 11th annual MAGA cruise is coming up in March. You're all invited. We're going on the newest ship in the celebrity fleet. We're going to the Cayman Islands, Nassau, and the Bahamas. I have not been to the Bahamas since I was a kid. I used to go to the Bahamas a lot when I was young. I haven't been there since, last time I went to the Bahamas, I was probably 18. And and we got something, where's the third place we're going? I can't remember. Bahamas, Nassau, and it doesn't matter because we got our group, our great MAGA group, and our great ship. We're going to have a great time. But this is the 11th annual MAGA cruise, and it's on the newest ship in the celebrity fleet. You will not want to miss this. It is a new class of ship that has all kinds of things on board that the other celebrity ships we've been on do not have. And I almost said you're all invited, but that's not really true. Liberal stowaways are not welcome. Okay, it's a private group, and we can decide who we want in the group or not. In fact, there are people that are not allowed to be in our group, and I've told Ian who those people are. And sometimes I add some people to that group because I don't want to spend a week with some of these people that I'm talking to. But you're all invited. It's in March. Give Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot a call. He'll remember the third spot we're going to, which I can't remember. Bahamas, Cayman Islands, and I can't remember the third place we're going, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be a great time. Give Ian a call. If you get his voicemail, leave your name and number, and he will call you back. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. And we'll see you on the cruise. We'll be right back.
physician. I've seen thousands and thousands of patients in my career. I've been a chiropractic physician here in Pompano Beach for 40 years. We're open 6 days a week. If you have sciatica, you have bursitis, you have tendonitis, you're tired of taking the pills, the drugs, the injections, and you heard that you have to live with it, well, there's a lot of times you don't have to live with it. I've had great success with helping people. My testimonials are marvelous with patients. They love the treatment. There's no injections, there's no medication, there's no surgery, there's none of that. It's strictly either the laser, the acupuncture I do, or shockwave therapy I do. Open 6 days a week. Come in for the free consultation and be willing to look at you and help you.
Take advantage of that no-charge consultation with Dr. Appleton. Remember, appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com.
When someone you love needs more support than you can give at home, it can be hard to know where to turn. At the Harrison Assisted Living and Memory Care of Stewart, we're here to help your family find peace of mind. Our compassionate caregivers provide personalized assistance, meaningful engagement, and a safe, comforting community your loved one can truly call home. Let us walk this journey with you. Visit harrisonstewart.com to learn more.
On the line is Jamie Levac from Swift Tax. You know, Jamie, a lot of people missed the tax deadline on April 15th. Not only is it not too late for them to file, but they may have, with the new tax code, a huge refund coming that they're leaving on the table, right?
Absolutely, Brian. If you haven't filed your taxes and you've been avoiding it because you're worried about penalties or late fees, if you are anticipating a refund, give me a call. There's a good chance there is a substantial amount of money left on the table for you. Again, this is your money. You worked hard for it. Give me a call anytime. Jamie Levac, Swift Tax.
Yeah, and remember, Jamie Levac can help you with your taxes no matter where you are located in the United States. Give him a call right now, 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Sandra. I'm calling from Delray Beach. The Barry Siegel Law Group did such wonderful work for me, and I was very particular. I'm a professional myself, and I went to about 3 or 4 attorneys prior. They wanted to do what they wanted to do. They didn't want to add anything extra, but Barry tailored it to my needs. And it's not only the trust. There's so many other end-of-life documents, the living will, the will, and I tailored each one of them to my liking, and they were wonderful and always polite. And not only that, when you finish your documents and you leave this world, your beneficiaries could go there and they'll explain everything to them, which is a big deal. The Siegel Group is above and beyond any other attorney that I have ever contacted. Plus, they give you a big portfolio at the end with a leather-bound documents. It's beautiful.
Give the Siegel Law Group a call, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on.
All right, we're back. Yeah, so I was just, somebody in the chat gave me one. We have 4 stops on the next cruise, right? So Nassau in the Bahamas, Cayman Islands, and then 2 stops in Mexico, Costa Maya. I can't remember the other one. We're going back to the Blue Lagoon, which we went on like on our 2nd or 3rd cruise. We went to the Blue Lagoon, and I wanted to go back there, and it's, oh, I can't wait. All right, guys, bunch of stuff going on. I do want to say, you ever heard that? Good enough for government work? Government workers, for the most part, suck. Okay, that's just the way it is. And I'll give you a textbook example. I'm driving to the radio station this morning on the Turnpike, and they have this Turnpike expansion construction program that's been going on, it seems like, for 28 years. Are they any close to getting it done? You know, if you go up into Orlando, they finished the expansion. Have you been up to Orlando on the Turnpike where they finished it, Mike? It is beautiful. I mean, it's so, but I don't know what, this has been going on forever and a day. But anyway, they're adding lanes to the Turnpike. And it's really, you know, it's been pretty much 2 lanes forever, which just is not enough. And they're doing some construction. So the Highway Patrol, they shut off this is not in place now, okay? This was like at 4:30 this morning when I was driving to the radio station. They shut down the northbound Turnpike. You had to exit at Okeechobee Boulevard and go to I-95. I-95 is like 5 or 6 miles from the Turnpike at Okeechobee Boulevard. You know, if anyone had any sense, they would have told us like the exit before at Southern, or maybe the, you know, before, and you know, you get off at one of those. I mean, it really, it took me, I don't know how long to get to, it was a mess. Only with government workers do you get such stupidity. All right, anyway, back to everything that's going on. Did you see the Southwest Airlines flight attendant that got busted by ICE and deported, a male flight attendant from Jamaica? I've not flown Southwest in many, many years. I used to fly it a lot when I would fly, and so I haven't been, but years ago, they may have stopped doing this, but years ago, the flight attendants used to do like a comedy routine on the intercom, and I always liked that. I don't know if they still do that. But anyway, listen to this. A Southwest Airlines flight attendant overstayed his visa, was arrested while at work. He's a Jamaican citizen. He was arrested July 14th in Nashville. He entered the United States in 2021 on a visa that expired. Listen to this. He first entered the United States April 17th, 2021 on a visa that expired October 16th, 2021, according to ICE. He overstayed his visa. So he's like 5 years overstayed his visa, almost 5 years. How is he going through airport security and getting on airplanes with an expired visa from 5 years ago? I don't know. Let's see if it tells us here. Against our nation laws, he overstayed his visa, failed to depart. He'll remain in ICE custody pending his immigration proceedings. ICE noted that illegal immigrants are offered $2,600 in free flights to self-deport. And this guy works for the airline, so does he get free airfare? We encourage every person here illegally to take advantage of that. It goes on. The flight attendants union responded and confirmed the arrest. He looks like a nice guy, a male flight attendant. And he fits the stereotype of male flight attendants, if you catch my drift on that. And then the Labor Council for Latin American Advancement commented and everything else, blah, blah, blah. Well, anyway, the reason I share this is 2 reasons. One, in our post-9/11 world, how is a guy who's overstayed his visa and is wanted by a federal agency, how's he going through airport security? But also, what's this? Well, who's going to mow your lawn? Who's going to clean your toilets? Don't you see that is a urban legend that the liberals have created? I mean, flight attendant job is a great job. It's a great career. You know, I mean, they're sought after jobs that there's a lot of competition to get. And people get these airline jobs, they never leave. They never leave. You know, a lot of people want that job. So enough of this that they're only taking jobs that Americans don't want to do. Being a flight attendant is one of the most in-demand jobs out there. All right. If you'd like to call in, it is open phones today. 888-465-2631 is a toll-free call no matter where you're located. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug. What's up?
Yesterday, I almost broke the rules and called back because when you mentioned Byron Donalds, I heard some concerning things. Number one, they said that he was only endorsed by President Trump because he's the only one running. So as long as he's still endorsed by President Trump, I'm voting for Byron Donalds no matter who's running. But then somebody said that DeSantis said that he hasn't been doing anything to help Florida. He's been campaigning, but hasn't been doing anything. And then the worst part was they said that he had an arrest record that he tried to cover up and lied about on camera. So I mean, there's some things that are. I'm voting
Well,
no matter
no,
what.
when he was in college, I'm not saying this is a good thing, all right? But if you guys remember Dan Quayle got in trouble for buying weed in college? Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that? Dan Quayle, Vice President of the United States with Bush 1? Yeah. And it was a big deal. And if I remember correctly, they even found the guy that sold him the dime bag or however a quarter. It was, I can't remember. It's been a long time. But it was, and that was, well, I guess 88. So in 88, Dan Quayle was running for vice president with H.W. Bush, Bush 41, Daddy Bush, the father, Papa Bush, whatever you want to call him. And he bought weed in college, okay? Byron Donalds, so goes the story, okay, is this. Now, Byron Donalds isn't one of those, one of these rich connected guys, all right? So when he was in college, he was dirt poor. And he sold some weed. And he got busted in college.
Yeah. Okay.
Big deal.
All right. I mean, big deal is right.
Big deal.
I mean, what is it? Who was the one that said, I smoke pot, but I didn't inhale?
Bill Clinton.
Clinton.
Bill Clinton. And who also said, I didn't have sex with that woman, Miss Lewinsky, and oral sex isn't sex. But he sold some weed in college so he could, eat, because he was poor. And so goes the story. I'm not going to hold that against him.
Oh, man,
but I'm up against the break, but I'll talk a little bit more about that after the top, okay? All right. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
WDJA AM Delray Beach. Also heard in St. Lucie County on 1590 WPSL Port St. Lucie and in Martin County on 1450 WSTU Stewart. We are South Florida's home for the true oldies channel. From the Code Red Roofers Weather Center. Code Red Roofers. Roofers who respond. Call 844-4CODE-RED. CodeRedRoofers.com. Here's your oldies forecast.
Carry the umbrella today right through the weekend. Good chance of showers and thunderstorms. We'll see some sun today, but high expected in the low 90s tonight. Clear the overnight low near the 80 mark. And for Saturday, expect showers and thunderstorms pretty much all day with a high in the low 90s, the overnight low in the upper 70s.
Weather brought to you by Code Red Roofers. Roofers who respond. Serving South Florida for over 20 years. Promoting integrity over profitability. And focused on doing right over being right. Protect your home or office today with Code Red Roofers. Call 844-4CODE-RED. CodeRedRoofers.com. And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Prescribed burn in Palm Beach County, I-95 northbound, just north of Indiantown Road at mile marker 88 in Jupiter. Use caution in that area. And a vehicle crash.
This is working. It's a little, but it's...
Mile marker 39 Sample Road.
From
the traffic center, I'm Ray Thomas.
Dumb question. Did we ever unplug this during it?
Yeah, do whatever you want. I don't need to try them.
Try like everything. Even the ones that don't make sense.
But it wasn't plugged in when I came in. Because it didn't have the jack in it. So, yeah. So,
This fall, get ready for incredible tribute dinner shows featuring the music of Queen, CCR, the Beach Boys, Bee Gees, Tina Turner, and more. For more details, go to bbkennelclub.com.
Right now, Sloman Central Air Conditioning makes it easier than ever to upgrade without blowing your budget. Get a high-efficiency 5-ton 18-SEER system using R454B refrigerant for just $59.99. And it gets even better with 0 down.
Yeah, Joe's coming in today. And then, okay. Is there a life imaging in the 8 o'clock hour?
No.
Okay.
I'll double check that just in case.
Just in case I don't get to it this hour, I'll do it in the next if it's not there.
Yeah, just Sloman's and Dr. Appleton.
Okay.
The 8, I should say.
And then, okay.
Mind if I switch the jack? Just to
I don't
check
care.
something? I
It's
really just want to figure out because if they unplugged it, there has to be something that did something different.
I tried it, and it didn't work.
Yeah, it's making that same weird buzzing noise.
Yeah.
When you want to switch it on, it doesn't matter.
So, well, we'll survive. The main thing is we found out why the feedback was happening, and that's over.
Yes.
So.
Now it's that because it worked. But I want to know who unplugged it at least because it's like, hey.
Who knows?
Was there anything that they did that?
It could have just been that somebody tripped over the wire. I wouldn't worry about it. It's no big deal. It could have gotten knocked on the ground, and they, you know.
Like different wires, like I don't know why, like it's not.
Well, the headphones were over there somewhere when I came in. So somebody just probably knocked it over or something. You know, it's no big deal. We know what I could do it like this. That's okay.
Mentally for me, that's gonna bother me until I.
No, it's awkward, but that's okay. If I was here every day, we'd figure something out. But it's not that big. It's no big deal.
It's also good for future reference, not just for you, but like if someone has like guests that they want to listen to as well.
Well, that tells me no one uses those guest mics.
That's true.
No one uses them.
Very, very true. We're the ones that use them.
Yeah, no one uses them, or you would hear about it.
Yeah, true.
Are those jacks working in there? Your guest mics?
I'm gonna check. I don't have them like.
But like I said, I don't want to do that because. Okay. Alrighty, the 7 o'clock hour has begun. I am going to go through this because I want to give the details on Byron. Let me tell you what's going on here. Primary season is here, and some big primaries are coming up. Like this story, as I give you an example, yesterday, the Mike Lindell story. That was an October surprise because the August 11th is the primary in Minnesota. Our primary here in Florida is next month. I don't remember the date offhand, so I don't want to say. I think I know, but I want to double check before I say the date. But, so you're going to start to hear negative things about Byron Donalds. All I need to know about Byron Donalds is President Trump said vote for him. Okay? That's what I need to know. That's all I need to know. And I really am majorly turned off by this lieutenant governor. He, the lieutenant governor is nasty. He's just nasty. I don't like fish sticks, but he took him to court to try to get him taken off the ballot. He says he's not a resident. Okay, and this Byron Donalds stuff. But I pulled up this story from CBS News about Byron Donalds and the weed, okay? And I'll go through it. And this story, and I did post this on my X at Brian Craig Show, and it's from March. Okay, and here's the headline. This is CBS out of Miami. This is not national CBS, okay? Byron Donalds, a Republican gubernatorial hopeful, admits to selling marijuana as a teen. What were you guys doing as a teenager? Now, I wasn't selling drugs, but, but I wouldn't want to be held accountable for everything I did as a teenager. I'll put it that way. This is CBS News out of Miami reporting. In the race to be Florida's next governor, Republican Congressman Byron Donalds has the endorsement of President Donald Trump, a campaign war chest that has raised more than $45 million and a clear lead in every poll. But with those advantages comes new scrutiny of his past, including an arrest for marijuana possession when he was 18 years old. Donalds, now 47, has often told the story of what occurred in 1997 when he was a student at Florida A&M University in Tallahassee. Florida A&M is the, agricultural mining. It's the black college. He said this. This is Byron Donalds. I was walking down the street. I was leaving a party. Officers came up, asked me if I would empty my pockets. I said yes, of course. I had a dime bag of marijuana in my pocket. That's the story. Byron Donalds acknowledges that he didn't just possess marijuana, he sold it. We now know there was more to the story. For the first time, Byron Donalds acknowledges that he didn't just possess marijuana, but that he was also dealing at the time. In an interview with CBS News Miami, Byron Donalds confirmed an account first given by his ex-wife nearly 2 years ago. Oh, don't you love the ex-wives? I'm glad I don't have any of those around. We had this neighbor who sold drugs, and they got close, Hall told the online publication Florida Trident in July 24. Byron thought that was his path to fix his money situation. He was making bad choices. It never made sense to me why he did it. I had a level of concern. I had to worry. What if he got arrested? The arrest came in October 97. At the time of the Florida Trident story, Donalds did not respond publicly to questions about Hall's statement, but during a lengthy interview this week with CBS Miami covering his life in his campaign for governor, Donald said she was correct that he dealt drugs for a period of time, low-level amounts. He was arrested, it says here, in 2000 on a fraud charge, 26 years ago. During a CBS Miami interview, Byron Donalds repeatedly referred to his actions during that period of his life as being based on stupid decisions, bad decisions, terrible decisions. There are a lot of decisions I wish I could redo from those early years. 18, 19, 20 were tough years for me. Made a lot of bad decisions that I regret, but in life, you're not who you are at your lowest point. You're what you decide to push yourself forward for. But it goes on. At 21, I gave my life to Christ, and then he turned everything around. After his arrest on the drug charge, he was allowed to enter a pretrial diversion program, paid $150 fine. The charges were dropped. On the fraud charge, he pled no contest, later had his record sealed and then expunged. Then how do we all know about it? I don't know. I don't know what the fraud charge was about. It doesn't tell me here. You know, this is one thing you've got to understand, okay? Now, if this was going on when he was a grown-up, we'd have a whole nother deal, okay, in my mind. But we're in a new era with politicians oftentimes. Most of the people that have been elected to different offices throughout your life have been groomed to be in that position, including Ron DeSantis. You know, Ron DeSantis was the captain of the baseball team at, I always forget if it's Harvard or Yale, but he writes about it in his book. And President Bush, the father, was also captain of the same team, and he met, and that's how he got to be where he is ultimately. You know, that's why he did the stint in the service, you know, and all that stuff, because, you know, it was resume building. And I'm not saying there's something wrong with that, but before the MAGA era, most people that ran for governor, House seats, Congress, they're people that have been groomed for a long, long time. Many of them are born into it. Many of them are recruited. So when you start to get regular people, okay, when you start to get regular people in politics, sometimes, you know, you find out things that, you know, aren't the cookie cutter perfect thing. Now, I will tell you this. Selling, I do not support even the legalization of marijuana, okay? It's bad news. Legalization of marijuana is bad. Don't do drugs, all that stuff. I don't do drugs, and I certainly don't support those who do. However, a guy selling a little weed to his friends in college, he wasn't selling crack. He wasn't selling heroin, okay? He wasn't selling cocaine, and he was very poor at the time. He had no financial family backing, he did it. I just don't think it's that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I'm open to your thoughts on it. But are we going to drop Byron Donalds because when he was in college, he sold a little weed to a few friends? No, he wasn't. He wasn't like a drug dealer. He was just a guy who I know drug. I mean, technically, I guess, but he was just a guy selling some weed to his friends. I'm not approving of that, and I'm not saying that's good. And I wouldn't want my daughter doing that in college or anything else. But then again, my daughter wouldn't have to. But I just don't think it's that big of a deal. Just like it wasn't a big deal that Bill Clinton was smoking weed in college, that Al Gore bought some weed. Not only did it come out that he was buying weed, they had the drug deal. The guy that sold him the weed was all over the news at the time. It's just, if it were harder drugs, it would be a whole nother discussion, right? If it was prescription drugs, cocaine, crack, heroin, I don't know what other drug. I'm not a druggie, so I mean those are the only ones I can think of off the top of my head. It'd be a whole different discussion, but not this, and not a kid that, you know, he was a kid at the time who had no family backing, no money, no nothing, and he's getting by. Because I've heard him and the ex talk about it in other interviews. This is not the first time I've heard about it, and what I recall is that he was doing it because he said he needed the money. I don't know. Come on. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take our first break of the second hour. And I want to talk for a moment about Friendly Tire in Margate. You know, Friendly Tire in Margate is absolutely amazing. And, you know, I've been a customer there for at least 15 years and maybe even longer. They've been with us here on the show for at least 10 years. And it's really amazing to me because I was cleaning out some of my old files on my computer, and there were some recorded commercials that I had done for Friendly Tire years and years ago, and it still said $75 a tire, right? So you can get new tires as low as $75 a tire out the door and on the road, and that's been the price for years and years over at Friendly Tire in Margate. You know, where inflation and other factors are driving prices up all over the place, that is not the case at Friendly Tire in Margate. And, you know, Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire can get any brand that you want. You know, if there's a particular brand of tire that you want, he can get that for you. He can get tires for any type of vehicle, even commercial vehicles. We have listeners that have commercial vehicles. They take over to Friendly Tire in Margate. If you have run flats, incredible deals on run flats. If you have a Tesla, he has the special tools needed for the Tesla tires. Incredible deals on that. Give him a call. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. And he has thousands of used tires in stock for as low as $35 a tire out the door and on the road. The number is 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445. for Friendly Tire in Margate. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Open enrollment may be over, but that doesn't mean your Medicare questions are. If you're turning 65, new to Medicare, moving, or qualifying for a special enrollment period, you may still have options. Don't guess when it comes to your healthcare coverage. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors at 954-753-8080. That's 954-753-8080.
It's okay. No, it would throw me off. And it got to do a lot of adjusting because sometimes the callers volume is different. Yeah, it's a lot of adjusting. It would be distracting for me. No, I appreciate it though.
Debbie can help you with your Medicare no matter where you're located in the state of Florida. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. I Will Advisors, helping you make Medicare simple. When it comes to dental work, there's no one better than Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. This is Richie the bus driver.
Sorry.
This is Richie, Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I have broken tooth.
Simple fix. You know, you just gotta.
Dentures in my mouth that are a lot.
I don't know.
Excellent and no pain. I recommend this guy.
If he's here, I wouldn't have him come out of his way. I mean, obviously no one's using it but me. It's no big deal.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Sandra. I'm calling from Delray Beach. The Barry Siegel Law Group did such wonderful work for me, and I was very particular. I'm a professional myself, and I went to about 3 or 4 attorneys prior. They wanted to do what they wanted to do. They didn't want to add anything extra, but Barry tailored it to my needs. And it's not only the trust. There's so many other end-of-life documents, the living will, the will, and I tailored each one of them to my liking, and they were wonderful and always polite. And not only that, when you finish your documents and you leave this world, your beneficiaries could go there and they'll explain everything to them, which is a big deal. The Siegel Group is above and beyond any other attorney that I have ever contacted. Plus, they give you a big portfolio at the end with a leather-bound documents. It's beautiful.
Give the Siegel Law Group a call, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
Alrighty, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. It is Friday, Open Mega Mike Friday, open phones every Friday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie.
Hey, Richie.
Good morning. I just want to add one thing with Dr. Gupta because I keep hearing, the commercial. Not only is Dr. Gupta very inexpensive, he's for a dentist, but he's pain-free. But he's not just a regular general dentist where you go in and he fills a cavity. He specializes in everything, including cosmetic and reconstructive surgery. Mm-hmm. This guy does everything in-house. So you go to a lot of dentists and they say, well, we don't do this. We got to send you to the specialist. No, you don't do that there. This guy starts from the beginning to the end. Anybody that wouldn't take advantage of something like that's got to be crazy.
That's right. Well, I appreciate that, Richie.
He's an excellent dentist. All right, now I want to talk about what you first brought up with the lady called up about Mamdani.
I mean, please.
You got a guy. You got a guy. Listen, you got a guy yesterday. You're worried about soldiers getting killed by the Iranians, and the people are worried about this terrible war going on. We got a jihadist mayor in New York City that basically sat behind George Washington's desk the morning before the 4th of July and trashed the United States. Then, a couple days later, he gets on TV and does a news conference telling you basically that they ought to arrest the Prime Minister of Israel for genocide, which there was never a genocide because there's more Palestinians right now than ever before the war. And by the way, if that was genocide, they did a terrible job on it because there's more Palestinians. And those figures, those numbers come from Hamas. All those death count numbers come from Hamas. This is the biggest, and he has stoked the fires. If you think 9/11 ceremony is going to be bad, when Netanyahu, he's basically called for come out in the streets, and you're going to see a terrible thing in New York. This is going to be really bad, and he stoked the fires. And when you said, well, the press are right behind him. They say yesterday the guy that got stabbed, it might have been a hate crime. It might have been a deranged person. Yeah. You have a deranged person in the city hall called the mayor. This guy is out of control. And this got to be done with this guy. He's got to be deported. He's causing a lot of problems.
He may be. The only thing about Mamdani that I can say is good is thank the Lord above he wasn't born in the United States because they would run him for president.
I think what's going to happen when Netanyahu comes, I think there's going to be riots in the streets of New York, and you can look at one person to blame. The mayor of New York City, because there's going to be pro-Israeli people, it's going to be a clash and he's calling for violence.
Let me tell you, if you're a Jew, you should not be in New York City. It's not safe. It's not.
Well, it's not just if you're ICE, you're not safe. Look what they did to the federal building because this guy, they firebombed him and they said it was fireworks.
And that story,
like
I haven't seen a single update since it happened.
No,
it's totally disappeared.
The press are complicit with this. They are on the side of Iran. You said it before. The United States press, the media, they want Iran to win. They at least want the economy of this country to go into the dump.
Oh.
And I can't stand to hear people calling up, oh, my gas went up 30 cents a gallon. What is this president doing? I told you yesterday, I'll say it again. Your gas goes up, you wouldn't have to worry about a car because it would be vaporized.
Well, you know, what the left are all about are, like yesterday, you know, with the Mike Lindell, everybody that called me about Mike Lindell yesterday was a liberal, pretending to be a conservative, right? Where are they today?
Yeah.
You know, it's because when the story broke yesterday, he didn't say what they said that he said exactly. But the left have no issues. They have no platform. So you're going to hear a lot of things like this thing with Byron Donalds I was talking about that they got out in the news again. You know, give me a break.
Let me tell you something about that. I was a bus driver, Broward County Transit, for a lot of years.
Really? I never heard that before.
BCT. I started in 1970. I want people to know that. I started in 78. We used to have to take company cars back to the garage because we didn't have transportation when we got off work. We would get off in the middle of a route somewhere. So some driver would bring his car. There were drivers, I got in the seat of a lot of cars that went into the neighborhoods off of Broward Boulevard, and you would pull up, and there would be like 15 young Afro-American kids. It was in black neighborhoods off of Broward Boulevard, running to the car with prepackaged brown bags of marijuana, and the drivers were smoking it. Even though it was illegal, a lot of the drivers were smoking it until they started getting drug tested. And so the bottom line is that this was a current event back then. You had movies.
Well, Byron Donalds was a little more recent than that. It was in the 90s, you know, late 90s, 97-ish. But here's the thing. He was selling some weed to friends in college. He was very poor. If he was selling cocaine, crack, anything, I wouldn't be saying this, okay? But I mean,
he's an honorable man.
Come on.
He's an honorable man. He's a conservative. He's a Trump back.
I mean, they got Presley. They find a dead body in her husband's house, you know, and her husband did time, you know. So her husband's got a record, right? And they find a dead body of a teenage girl in his house. You know, come on. I mean, you know, this is nothing with Byron Donalds. Sold some weed to some friends in college. Come on.
You're 100% right. If I knew some Democratic friends, which I have no Democratic friends, I would say, hey, can you give me information on how I could vote 10 times for Byron Donalds? 10 times, because the Democrats know how to cheat. I don't think the Republicans know. So I would have to get.
This is the deal. It is on the eve of the primary, and this is a very nasty primary. And you're going to start to hear nasty stuff about people that you know, right before the election. That's how it works.
DeSantis backs this guy. He doesn't.
The lieutenant governor.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
He backs him, and not on top of that, the Tate brothers. DeSantis got involved to make a show out of this. I was listening to a lawyer yesterday talk about that. DeSantis knew this, and they had the cameras there and everything. This was a political crap.
Well, the Tate brothers, Andrew Tate was wearing a woman's outfit. Did you see this when they arrested him? The clothes that he was, I thought the clothes he was wearing was weird, and then later in the day, people posted online from a women's catalog. The same, it was a blouse and slacks that are women. I don't know why Andrew Tate was wearing a women's outfit, slacks and a blouse.
I'm not for any kind of arrest, whether it be them or the guy, I forgot his name now. The guy that was arrested in Fort Lauderdale with Trump's good friend, when they had CNN cameras there at 5 in the morning.
Roger Stone.
Roger Stone, that's it. When the press has been tipped off and they're out there with their cameras to record all this garbage on a raid that's supposed to be a secret raid, that's not a secret. That's done on purpose.
Well, the thing
So
with
I'm
the
not
Tate
for it.
brothers,
I'm not for that.
the thing with the Tate brothers is, I don't know, was the media there, or were those like people on their cell phones that filmed that?
No, there were media. I heard the media was
A lot of
there.
conservatives.
The lawyer says the media was there.
A lot of conservatives have made such a big deal about Andrew Tate and his brother because they're so famous online, and they do it for views online. Like Patrick Bet-David and Tucker flew over to Europe to interview him at his house when he was under house arrest and all that stuff. And all these people are always talking about them. I don't know why so many. They're not tough men. The guy's wearing women's clothes, and there's nothing conservative about them. But they get a lot of the harassment they get is to try to smear MAGA people that have been clout chasing with them. All right, Richie, I'm late for the break. I got to run. If you're on hold, stand by. It is open phones today. The number is toll free 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. From the All-Year Cooling Weather Center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Carry the umbrella today right through the weekend. Good chance of showers and thunderstorms. We'll see some sun today, but high expected in the low 90s tonight. Clear the overnight low near the 80 mark.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I usually call him about a minute before we're back. So I don't have to hold. That's why I ask her, so I don't have to hold on a long time.
AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All-Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Construction in St. Lucie County, I-95 northbound at mile marker 123. That's near St. Lucie West Boulevard and Midway Road in Port St. Lucie. Use caution in that area. Prescribed burn in Palm Beach County, I-95 northbound, just north of Indiantown Road at mile marker 88 in Jupiter. Use caution in that area. From the traffic center, I'm Ray Thomas.
That's your traffic brought to you by PBKC. Freedom, fireworks, and high hands. It's all happening this July in the Poker Room at PBKC. The excitement never stops with high hands every 15 minutes, every day from 9 a.m. to midnight. Plus a $15,000 cash giveaway and $100,000 progressive weekends. Grab your friends for the $10 poker party Friday, July 31st. It's a great way for beginners to experience tournament play. Bet small and win big with table games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em or 3-card poker with just a $5 minimum all day, every day. For more information, go to pbkennelclub.com.
There, you looking for the easy breezy way to make this your best summer yet? Set sail with Margaritaville at Sea. They've got award-winning ships, beautiful destinations, live entertainment, family-friendly experiences, and core memories, all waiting just offshore. Whether you're sailing for a few days or a full Caribbean adventure, paradise is closer than you think. Learn more at margaritavillatSea.com.
Hi, it's Dr. Philip Appleton. You've been hearing my commercials about bye-bye pain, my laser weight treatment, but today's commercial and today's spot is going to be on Tom Laporta, Laporta Roofing. What an experience I've had with him and his company. They've done a few of my friends' houses and my son and my house. There's never a downtime. They're old school, which means call them up, they'll be there. How many times have you called somebody up and they never show up, or they give you an excuse? Weather, traffic, whatever. Tom Laporta, what a class act. The workmanship, the magnificent teamwork they have. I recommend them 100%.
Give Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing a call. This number rings directly to his cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. He covers both the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. 954-604-4602. LaportaRoofing.com. They'll never sell you a roof you don't need.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 49 years on the air.
All right, and we're back. It's time to check in with and we're back. It's time to check in with because I don't have the headphones on. See, it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Hey, Brian. Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm looking at the date. The month of July, is almost over, and you've been offering this incredible deal in honor of our 250th anniversary of $1,000 off, and so I want to make sure we highlight that today.
Yeah. That time's running out on that particular promotion to help people get independence from not being prepared, and that's exactly what we were going to talk about today, is being prepared. I mean, think about it. You don't know what's going to happen today, tomorrow. Things happen, and there are certain things in life that we know are going to happen, and there's some things that are going to be surprises, and the key is to be prepared, and that's what we help people do. We help people become prepared for some things that we know are going to happen, and also be prepared for things that we may not be expecting to happen, but it's better to be prepared than unprepared. And so by preparing, that's setting up your planning so that you don't leave a mess behind for your loved ones, so that things will go the way that you want it to go, including avoiding going to court, such as probate and guardianship, making sure that your loved ones receive your assets in an easy way without the court involvement, and also making sure you don't run out of money during your lifetime.
That's right.
Those are some of the things that you need to prepare for, and if you are not prepared, if you haven't done anything about this, or it's been a long time since you've looked at it, then it's time to either dust off that old estate plan and have it reviewed by us, or come in and we'll discuss what it is that you need to make sure that your family is taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, and if you don't take care of things, terrible things can happen. There was a nice couple that lived next door to my parents, and the husband died, and 6 months later, the wife remarried. And about 3 months after that, she died. She didn't have any of her things together. This guy she was married to for 3 months, his family got everything, Barry. The house, the car, the money, even like family pictures. They wouldn't let the family even have terrible things happen when people pass and they don't prepare, right, Barry?
And unfortunately, what you're talking about there, we've seen those things happen. It's not just this is something that could possibly happen. We've seen this happen a number of times, unfortunately, and it's always someone else's kids or grandkids getting your stuff.
That's
when
right.
You have these, divorces and then remarriages, and then it goes to somebody else's kids or grandkids, and out of your family bloodline.
It's sad, and at that point, it's too late. Listen, call the Siegel Law Group. Don't let that happen to your family. And remember, for the month of July, with the Revocable Living Trust, it's $1,000 off for the month of July, and July is almost over, okay? 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk next week.
Great. Take care. Have a great weekend.
All right, take care. You too. All right, now, ICE has really been working hard here with Southwest. I was telling you earlier that ICE deported a Southwest Airlines flight attendant. They got them at work. I don't know if they were on the plane, walking towards the plane. They were 5 years past their visa. Well, listen to this. This is also Southwest. ICE arrested an illegal alien from Ecuador as she tried to board a Southwest Airlines flight at Denver International Airport on Monday. The woman was taken into custody on the jetway while bystanders filmed and screamed, "Help us! ICE is here! Help us! ICE is here!" Oh, man. According to ICE and the Department of Homeland Security, 27-year-old Chantel Alejandro Morales Rojas, an Ecuadorian national, entered the United States in 2024 on a visa that expired January 2025. She overstayed that visa. She's now in ICE custody. And they got her at the trying to get on the Southwest flight. as crazy as this sounds, Jake Tapper on CNN made such a great point yesterday about illegals. And it really shows you how the opinion in this country has changed when you hear Jake Tapper on CNN taking like a MAGA position. He was talking about all of these non-citizens and illegals that are registered to vote. And he says if you're in the country illegally and you get a notice in the mail that you're registered to vote in a voter registration card, why would you go and vote? You know, and that's a good question, you know, and there's all kinds of reasons. I mean, I don't think we should assume that the non-citizens or the illegals actually went and physically voted themselves. It might have been done for them. Who knows? Who knows? But I do know this. ICE is working quadruple time, aren't they? You know, they had that huge recruiting last year, and it looks like everybody from the first couple waves of that mass recruiting are on the job because they've increased their numbers. And another thing, they changed their tactics. And we all like Bovino, but Bovino is a bit of a personality and a grandstander, you know, and he was bringing a lot of publicity to what they were doing. And ICE, they've been doing mass deportations, but without the resistance. So I guess they just haven't been, well, they haven't been telegraphing what it is they're going to do in advance. That's probably part of it. I mean, if you start telegraphing it, it gives time for the other people to show up. And airports are a great place to arrest people because there's so much security there. And you know, the last time I flew, a guy got arrested that was waiting to board the flight across from mine. I filmed it too, and there were so many cops, TSA and BSO surrounding the guy. It was, you know, he didn't even. He's like, okay, here I am, you know. So airports are a good, secure place. But I think about these two ICE arrests with Southwest, and it tells you how fearless, even a year and a half into Trump's second term, it shows you how fearless so many illegals are that they're going through airports. Airport security is some of the toughest security, and you have to have government-issued photo ID to get through, and they're running you through the computer at the same time. You know, and so they have some. I wonder if this woman had a driver's license. Same with the Jamaican flight attendant that was deported from Southwest. Did they have driver's licenses? How are they getting through security? And another thing I wonder, like this woman from Ecuador that got deported, are ICE just hanging around the airport and then they put someone through the computer, they go through security? Because I'm guessing they're arresting them after they go through security, right? So with this woman from Ecuador, did her name go through the computer at the check and they saw that she's illegal and then ICE just picked her up on the other side? I don't think they went to the airport looking. I think it's almost like a speed trap. I think they're just hanging out. And it shows you that all this information has been available in the database. And, you know, so this whole thing about ID, all this discussion about ID, they obviously have ID if they're flying. It's not the old days when you can't fly, you could fly without ID. I miss those days when you could fly without ID. Flying now is such a pain in the butt. It's just it's a nuisance to fly today. Plus the seats are small and there's no leg room and all that stuff on top of it. But I like that they're getting people at the airport. You know, we do have a problem though. You know, this incident in New York that I opened the show up about, where the guy was yelling Allahu Akbar and all this. There's a difference between the issue we have with Muslims around the country and the illegals. See, the illegals are here illegally, so you can just deport them. That's it, okay? With the Muslims where we're having issues, many of them are in the country illegally or are citizens, right? Like the Somali pirates that are doing this crime. So they just can't be deported because they can have their citizenship revoked, but there's too many Clinton and Obama and Biden judges around that don't go along with that and cause all kinds of problems with it. But it's just a more involved process, and it's not something that's realistic. But I'll tell you, this attack in New York, if that's not a wake-up call to people in New York about the current situation, if you have a mayor not just talking about arresting the Israeli prime minister, but constantly talking about the Israeli Holocaust committed against Muslims, it should not come to a surprise to anyone that in the city there's Islamic attacks like this one yesterday in the city. Because the mayor is telling you that the Jews are responsible for all of these terrible things. Oh boy, I want to talk about, oh yes, Lighthouse Medical. If you or someone you know suffer from neuropathy, listen up guys. We found Lighthouse Medical out of necessity because Steve had neuropathy, and his primary care physician told him, there's nothing you can do about it. That's your life now. That's your life. And he pleaded with him. He gave him a referral to a neurologist who's a specialist. The neurologist said there's no treatment for neuropathy. And we went on a search because he was having such a difficult time, and we found Lighthouse Medical. And it was years ago. They rid him of neuropathy. He saw relief after his very first treatment with them, and his neuropathy, they rid him of it, and it hasn't returned. It works. And no matter what level of neuropathy you're at, if you're at an advanced stage, they can still help you, okay? It's never too late. But you want to go in when you have those first symptoms because you don't want to go through that suffering. Call Lighthouse Medical and schedule your no-charge consultation. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
This is Dr. Phil Appleton. I'm a chiropractic physician. I've seen thousands and thousands of patients in my career. I've been a chiropractic physician here in Pompano Beach for 40 years. We're open 6 days a week. If you have sciatica, you have bursitis, you have tendonitis, you're tired of taking the pills, the drugs, the injections, and you heard that you have to live with it, well, there's a lot of times you don't have to live with it. I've had great success with helping people. My testimonials are marvelous with patients. They love the treatment. There's no injections. There's no medication. There's no surgery. There's none of that. It's strictly either the laser, the acupuncture I do, or shockwave therapy I do. Open 6 days a week. Come in for the free consultation, and I'll be willing to look at you and help you.
Take advantage of that no-charge consultation with Dr. Appleton. Remember, appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious. Crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside. Everything homemade. Nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
On the line is Jamie Levac from Swift Tax. Jamie, a lot of people missed the tax deadline on April 15th. Not only is it not too late for them to file, but they may have, with the new tax code, a huge refund coming that they're leaving on the table, right?
Absolutely, Brian. If you haven't filed your taxes and you've been avoiding it because you're worried about penalties or late fees, if you are anticipating a refund, give me a call. There's a good chance there is a substantial amount of money left on the table for you. Again, this is your money. You worked hard for it. Give me a call anytime. Jamie Levac, Swift Tax.
Yeah, and remember, Jamie Levac can help you with your taxes no matter where.
The thing that I really...
Call right now, 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian, the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Our number is toll free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. And it is Open MAGA Mike Friday, open phones on Friday. You can call in about any and everything on your mind. There's all this talk of AOC and Kamala Harris running together. And they keep telling us that AOC is polling very well. You know, I'm wondering if Republicans are doing those polls because she, you know, AOC, who says she's so popular? And once you start running for president and you do real interviews, then you're up against it. I hope they're serious about running Kamala Harris and AOC. Kamala Harris not only lost, she got completely creamed. And for her to come back after losing a national election, and she, you know, and she'd have 4 years off of when she's probably just sitting around drinking wine out of the box all the time. You know, that would, I really hope that they're going to run those two. That would be perfect. Dumb and Dumber will probably be the biggest meme, right? Dumb and Dumber. And that would be perfect, yeah. All right, let's go. Let's see here. You are on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on? You're on? Okay, that's fine with me. Okay, so dumb and dumb. Okay, but there's another issue they're trying to make a big thing about. They're trying to turn this Saudi Arabia nuclear reactor deal into us giving them the bomb. Let me pull this up. This is Joy Behar on the Coven of The View yesterday.
That I really can't stand about him right now is that he starts a war in Iran because they're going to get a nuclear weapon. Now he's making a deal with the Saudi Arabians that will allow them to produce a nuclear weapon.
What is she talking about? No, a nuclear reactor that generates electricity. Okay, that's not a weapon.
Now, where is the head of the Republican Party in this? Because they have the power to get rid of him.
And they will say that the Saudis are not allowed to make a nuclear weapon, but they're allowed to enrich.
Oh, I see. Then we'll go to war with the 9/11 group. The Saudis were behind 9/11.
Yeah.
Oh, now the Saudis were behind 9/11. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You know, this is how it works with the Democrats, right? They take a little story, and then they completely fabricate this whole narrative around it. And the deal with Saudi Arabia is pretty simple. They're going to be able to build a nuclear reactor with American materials and an American company building it. That is not a nuclear bomb. It's a nuclear power plant. It's a whole nother thing. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Leslie in West Palm Beach. Good morning.
Hey, what's up?
You know, it's something that hasn't been spoken about in a bit. We remember the, I'm sorry, I was thinking of the dinner, the correspondence dinner.
Yep.
That hasn't really occurred yet, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And what I was thinking about all along is about the security, that guy had all those rifles, ammunition, and got on a train. So my question is, when are we going to tighten up security on trains and buses? You know, we're just thinking of airplanes.
Well, the security around the president's incompetent. You know, there was a Secret Service man just got busted this week from J.D. Vance's security detail for leaking out information about his travels to the press. The Secret Service are not some elite band of people. They seem to be some of the most incompetent people in the government.
Right. But, you know, my concern, a grave concern, not only just for, you know, a correspondence dinner and the security coming up whenever that's getting rescheduled, but how about all of us?
I don't know how that works because, you know, I don't take trains too much, but I take the Bright Line on occasion. And the security at the Bright Line, they got like an airport metal detector, an X-ray machine, and everything.
Yeah, but these simpletons are coming on buses and you know, just regular rail lines.
Mm-hmm.
I just think security needs to be more all around. I think we're missing a lot of gaps. And, you know, right now, I hate to say it, but I'm unemployed. Well, employ people for more security. This is really important in this day and age, and I just think it was really loose, and that kid got his way right through, you know, and nearly killed our president.
What kind of job did you have? You lost your job?
Oh, please. Yeah, abusive guy, going after him, and I was an executive assistant. So, yeah, in between jobs, feeding 13 cats, that's a whole other problem here.
Oh, my goodness.
You know,
it's tough.
yeah,
It's a tough world out there.
Yeah, it is, but you know what? You got to keep going, keep your eyes alert, and stay in gratitude.
That's right. That's right. All right, you make some good points. All right, you take care. Thanks for the call. Nice lady. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Carlos, Port St. Lucie, Florida.
Hey, Carlos.
Hey, so yesterday I'm listening to that lady who speaks for Trump, and the simpletons asked
Caroline
her
Levitt.
a question. Right, and the simpletons asked her a question. How come you don't let Iran enrich uranium, but you're letting the Saudi Arabia do it?
Oh, my goodness.
What she should have said, and I know you're going to have the simpletons call you up on this because, you know, they repeat everything. What she should have said is, because Saudi Arabia doesn't say death to USA and death to Israel. Saudi Arabia is...
We're not allowing them to enrich uranium, though. They're building a nuclear
plant.
Power plant with an American company and materials, not a bomb or weapons.
Right, but they don't get that. But if the simpletons call in, how come you're letting one and not the other? Because one doesn't say death to America. That's it. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, what they're doing is you know, 17 of the 19 hijackers were Saudi Arabian. They're telling, you know, so they're saying Saudi Arabia was behind 9/11. Saudi Arabia has had their problems, but they've been a friend of ours for a long time.
Right. They helped us out a lot.
They're helping us out now with Iran, and now the redcoats are. England is letting us use our. Can you imagine? They're letting us use our air bases.
Oh yeah, they got threatened yesterday. Didn't they get threatened by Iran yesterday?
Yeah.
England?
Yeah. Iran said they're going to that the UK is a legitimate target now.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, have a nice weekend.
All right, Kate.
Man.
All right, Carlos. You take care. You take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Danielle, and I'm a mega cruiser. I'm also a naturalized American, okay? And Brian, I'm going to try to be very fast. So I'm addressing today the issue about illegal immigration. When you come here the right way, when you have all of your diploma translate, you learn to speak English. I still have broken English, but I learned it. I learned English in 1 month. You have to be grateful about this country. And I tell you, the illegal that come here break the law, and the people who are born here, the natural born citizens, who are so ungrateful about everything. It's just I cannot take it. And I have to say, President Trump is my president. I vote for him since 2016, 2020, 2024. I'm going to vote for him again if he rerun.
Awesome.
But I have to say, we never knew anything about any other previous president like we know about President Trump. I didn't know President Trump was until I came here. I don't watch TV. I think they're all liars. And I thank you for letting us be informed. But I have to say, they hate this president because he is the first one who really care about this country. The flag, the history. And he is, to me, it is my real President Trump, the American president, the real one.
That's right. Now you said a MAGA cruiser. Were you on one of our cruises?
Yeah, I'm Danielle. I'm the one who was hanging out with the two people from Cuba.
Oh yeah. I remember you. Absolutely. Yeah.
You remember?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I have a picture of you. Yes.
Yes.
But I listened to your show, and I want to thank you for letting us continue to be informed, because this is what we need. We need people to tell the truth.
That's right.
And,
well, I appreciate it. All right, you take care.
You do a great job. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you. See, we have nice people on the cruises. Right? There's no docs on our cruise group. What she talked about, it's very true about Trump. Victor Davis Hanson has a new book coming out later this year. I'm going to get it, and maybe I don't do a lot of interviews, but maybe I'll see if I can get an interview with Victor Davis Hanson. And it's a book about and he's very right about this. President Trump is a counter-revolutionary, okay? And what that means is what President Trump is doing in this second non-consecutive term, in 4 years, he is reversing everything that the Democrats have shoved down our throats for the last 50. He overturned Roe v. Wade. He's ended this trans nonsense. DEI didn't earn it as affirmative action. He's ended affirmative action. You understand what I mean? He's just destroyed everything. The Democrat Party is about to no longer exist with everything he's doing with elections and redistricting and the Save America Act. And he's a completely counter-revolutionary president, undoing 50 or 60 years of liberalism. And that's why they hate him. Now, I want to talk about life imaging. There's so many things that you do every year. You go to the dentist once a year. You go to your doctor for your annual physical. You get your oil changed, at certain times throughout the year. But do you get your heart scan? You should. It's something you should do every year. And you can with life imaging. There's no excuse to do it. They have locations in Palm Beach, Broward, Dade, and Orlando. It takes a few short minutes. And you don't have to put on a gown or anything. When I didn't know this till I got there. I was all ready, man. I thought I was getting ready. I go into the room to get the scan. I start taking my watch off, and I said, "Where's the gown?" "What gown?" I said, "Oh, okay." They said, "Just you can wear that." I'm wearing jeans. "Yeah, no, you can wear jeans." "Okay, what about my shirt?" "No, keep your shirt on." And it took just a few short minutes too. Call Life Imaging FLA for your free heart scan now, with a few minimum requirements valued at $699. From your cell phone, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250. Just say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. And when you're over there, make sure you ask about their full body cancer screening as well as their full body virtual colonography. Okay? Give them a call, pound 250. That's pound 250 on your cell, and you will be connected in seconds. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. It is Open Mega Mike Friday. Open phones. You can call in today about any and everything on your mind. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be back right after our top-of-the-hour break.
WDJA AM Delray Beach. Also heard in St. Lucie County on 1590 WPSL Port St. Lucie and in Martin County on 1450 WSTU Stewart. We are South Florida's home for the true oldies channel. From the Code Red Roofers Weather Center. Code Red Roofers. Roofers who respond. Call 844-4CODE-RED. CodeRedRoofers.com. Here's your oldies forecast.
Carry the umbrella today right through the weekend. Good chance of showers and thunderstorms. We'll see some sun today, but a high expected in the low 90s tonight. Clear, the overnight low near the 80 mark. And for Saturday, expect showers and thunderstorms pretty much all day with a high in the low 90s, the overnight low in the upper 70s.
Weather brought to you by Code Red Roofers. Roofers who respond. Serving South Florida for over 20 years. Promoting integrity over profitability. And focused on doing right over being right. Protect your home or office today with Code Red Roofers. Call 844-4CODE-RED. CodeRedRoofers.com. And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Prescribed burn in Palm Beach County, I-95 northbound, just north of Indian Town Road at mile marker 88 in Jupiter. Use caution in that area. If you're traveling to Martin County, there is a vehicle crash. State Road 9, which is I-95 northbound, mile marker 101 Canner Highway in Stewart. No roadblock mentioned. From the traffic center, I'm Ray Thomas.
At your traffic, brought to you by PBKC. It's a great week to visit PBKC. Catch all the top horse racing action, including the excitement of Saratoga, and watch and wager in style at the Paddock Restaurant. Enjoy all the OTB and sports action on over 140 HD TVs, 3 giant screens, plus delicious food and friendly service. This fall, get ready for incredible tribute dinner shows featuring the music of Queen, CCR, the Beach Boys, Bee Gees, Tina Turner, and more. For more details, go to pbkennelclub.com.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, the 8 o'clock hour has begun. My name's Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. I'm a little confused by something. I really am. So, Carlos from Port St. Lucie was talking about Caroline Leavitt's press conference, which I did watch yesterday. And she was talking about how the president is upset with John Thune because of the vote. Well, then Thune responded to Caroline Leavitt, and this is where I'm confused, okay? This is in The Hill. And is there something I'm missing, or are there games being played here? Because, the Save America Act is without question the most important piece of legislation that Donald Trump will sign into law from both terms. No doubt about it, because it's perfectly named. It'll save our country, that's for sure. Thune responds to Leavitt when she says Trump's patience with him is running out. All right? Here's the story. And this is where I'm confused. Senate Majority Leader John Thune bristled when asked Thursday about White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt's statement that President Trump's patience is running out with the Senate GOP leader because of the stalled Save America Act. So this is what Thune said after the White House briefing. Maybe she, meaning Caroline Leavitt, maybe she or somebody else ought to get on the phone and get the votes, right? It's 50 around here. That's what he said. It's 50 around here. So Thune says they've got 50 votes. That's all we need, because we've got J.D. Vance, the vice president. That's 51. Am I reading this right? Because, and a lot of times these writers in major news outlets, they don't write well, right? They're not educated like they used to be. So let me read through this again. He's responding to Caroline Leavitt's statement that President Trump patience is running out with the Senate GOP leader because of the stalled Save America Act. And then it's in quotations. It says, maybe she or somebody else ought to get on the phone and get the votes, right? It's 50 around here, Thune shot back when asked about Leavitt's statement to reporters at a press briefing earlier on Thursday. Instead of pointing the finger at Republicans, they might think about going after people who were stopping it on the floor, which is the Democrats, the senator added, appearing somewhat irritated by the critical comment. And if there are Republicans that they think are gettable, get on the phone. So I'm confused. Does he have the 50 votes? Or is he saying 50 isn't enough? I'm so sick of this garbage. There's so many issues out there that come up over the years that there are credible debates on, okay? Not that I necessarily agree with the other side, but that there's debate on. This is one of those issues that there is no debate on. Over 80% of Republicans support the Save America Act. Close to 80% of Democrats do. And even yesterday, James Carville, in this very bizarre address from his bed with a heating pad on his back at the same time, said that the Democrats should go along with the voter ID because it's something that's so popular, it's not winnable to oppose it. So, I'm just so tired of the games that they play. And, I often tell you guys that before Trump came on the scene, this is what it was like being a Republican. You had all of these Republicans who said all the right things at election time. They get elected and then nothing gets done. And the only thing that has been holding up the Save America Act is John Thune for how many months now? Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. But he's doing what Pam Bondi was doing at the Justice Department. He's trying to run out the clock. All the polls show that we're going to win in the midterms. So if he doesn't pass it, okay. What he's trying to run out the clock for is they don't want it in effect anywhere during this election in November, right? But in January, a new Congress is going to come in. It's going to be a Republican Congress, a Republican Senate, a Republican House. Thune is no longer going to be the leader. He's going to be out. the door. He's going to be out the door. There's no way. And I would say at this point, Trump probably realizes that that's going to be it. We're going to have to wait till January to get it done. You know, and this rhino, I'm so sick and tired of the rhinos. I mean, who is opposed to voter ID? The only people that are opposed to voter ID and proof of citizenship to register to vote are people that are looking to do crime, right? And you see all of these stories that are in the news. I was looking today, the count from the 4 states, we've got counts from 4 states. Most of the states won't comply, right? So as of now, and these numbers are going up, never down, they're going up. The current numbers right now, we have 4 states where we have numbers of non-citizens that are registered to vote. It started out a couple days ago, 6,600 in New Jersey. That's now up to 35,152 in New Jersey, 15,903 in Nevada. These are non-citizens that are registered to vote. 14,576 in Pennsylvania, and in California, 190,832. That's as of now. Remember, okay? Because the investigations are continuing, and they're finding more because they found almost 30,000 more just in the last couple of days in New Jersey, where they're focused on. And remember, rhinos are really Democrats. They're not. That's why we said rhino, Republican in name only, right? Rhinos are Democrats. They work for and with and are Democrats. And I'm going to throw Rand Paul into that too, with this fake libertarian thing that he's pulling. I don't trust that Rand Paul. He's a snake. You know, the only thing they do is they help us with our numbers to get the majority. But this issue is, when it comes to being a Republican, right? This issue was as clear as when abortion was being debated. That's been settled with the overturning of Roe v. Wade. But we used to have these litmus tests, right? You're only a conservative if you agree with these things. Pro-life, lower taxes, right? Securing the border. Now it's the Save America Act we've added to that. There's a handful of things that if you're not on board with these things, you're not a Republican. You're not a conservative. Now, how John Thune weaseled his way in to be the leader, you know, Mitch McConnell was still coherent and around, and I don't know. Nobody knows. But I do remember when he was chosen to be the Republican leader in the Senate, a lot of Republicans talked about what bad news he was. And, you know, and we're finding that out right now. You know, but these guys, they don't care because they're all getting paid. They're all getting rich. And if he can run out that clock, you know, we're going to win in the midterms, but it's never a sure bet, right? I mean, you never know. So what they're doing is they're hoping that they'll be able to bring the Democrats in, or the Democrats will win some seats. The Republican establishment, of which Thune is a part of, does not want to win the midterms. It's like the Democrats are trying to lose for the Democrat Socialist I was talking about yesterday. Thune and the Bush Republicans, they want to lose the midterms because they don't want that Save America Act. The Save America Act will end their entire racket. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Ryan, good morning, IB.
Oh, hey, IB.
You've been saying this forever. You know that the Republicans would rather lose the election and control the party.
Correct.
But they know the party is over. They know MAGA's taken over. They're just hanging on to their last whatever. Yesterday, I was trying to get to the point with the Mike Lindell comment about the Somalis and having some kind of amnesty. I was trying to get to this point. Just like Trump and Pam Bondi pushed and chummed the water with the Epstein thing and got them going with that. Just like they tried to Tesla bomb all the Elon Musk stuff, and then they had the argument. Just like Hamas in Lebanon, when Trump said, "What the F are you doing to Netanyahu?" It's all a show. Okay, this is behind the scenes to create a situation. It's like chumming the water. what I think the Mike Lindell thing and the Trump thing is they're creating a narrative. They're setting the chum in the water again. Okay, we don't know what it is exactly, but obviously, if they're all illegals, they all have to go, even if they're not.
Well,
violent.
if you notice, I haven't gotten a single call from any of these liberals about Mike Lindell today. And yesterday when I had not seen the interview and hadn't found out what was going on, they were desperate to get me to comment. And now that I know, what happened with Mike Lindell, I'll explain after the break because I'm up against the break and I don't have time. But when we get back, I appreciate the call, IB. When I get back, I'll explain what happened with Mike Lindell yesterday. All right, because I don't want you to think that I'm avoiding the topic. Spoiler alert: he's still a sponsor of the program. All right. We're going to take our first break of the 8 o'clock hour. It is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. I'm looking for my copy, Mike. I can't find it. Okay, I found it, Forrest. I just need the phone number. I want to talk about Sloman Central Air Conditioning. I want to make sure I get the number correct. I love that feeling. When I walk into my house on a hot day like we have every day right now, and my air conditioning has my house at like 71, 72 degrees. I love it. It's a great feeling, huh? If your air conditioning is blowing hot air, if your air conditioning is running all day long and never stopping, if there are rooms in your house that no matter what you set your AC unit to, they're hot, you need to call Sloman Central Air Conditioning because the air conditioning unit you have isn't doing the job. And with Sloman's, you can get a high-efficiency 5-ton 18-SEER system that uses R454B refrigerant for just $59.99 with zero down, zero payments, and zero interest for 18 months. That's wild. That means you get through 2 summers. Right, with that, before you have to make the payments. It also comes with a 5-year bumper-to-bumper service plan, including annual system maintenance, filter replacements, and refrigerant, so there's no annual maintenance cost. And you'll also receive the Sloman's Shield home security system installed with 5 years of professional central station monitoring included with your AC package. Give them a call, 561-217-COOL. That's COOL. 561-217-COOL, 561-217-COOL. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
When you need help, don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. Go to any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. Their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription is needed, and you're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor can order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Take control of your health care and visit any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. There's lots of any lab test nows around, but these are the only 2 advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Sandra. I'm calling from Delray Beach. The Barry Siegel Law Group did such wonderful work for me, and I was very particular. I'm a professional myself, and I went to about 3 or 4 attorneys prior. They wanted to do what they wanted to do. They didn't want to add anything extra, but Barry tailored it to my needs. And it's not only the trust. There's so many other end-of-life documents, the living will, the will, and I tailored each one of them to my liking, and they were wonderful and always, always polite. And not only that, when you finish your documents and you leave this world, your beneficiaries could go there and they'll explain everything to them, which is a big deal. The Siegel Group is above and beyond any other attorney that I have ever contacted. Plus, they give you a big portfolio at the end with a leather-bound documents. It's beautiful.
Give the Siegel Law Group a call, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, here is in Boca on 95.3 FM, and anywhere in the world at True.
All righty. We're back 17 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Yeah, so let me tell you what happened with Mike Lindell yesterday, because when I got off the air yesterday, I watched the video in its entirety, at least what was available, right? I got to see what was available in its entirety, which was not the full interview, by the way. That interview, Mike Lindell responded several times yesterday on Lindell TV and said he does not support amnesty. I'm not going to play it for you now. It's on my X, all of his interviews on Lindell TV. But that interview, Mike Lindell said, was about a month ago. And we just saw it like yesterday, or it came out the night before, I guess, you know. And that was, like I was talking about with Byron Donalds, the Minnesota primary is on August 11th. So it was kind of like an October surprise. But there's a couple things I'll tell you about it, okay? It was a follow-up to something that President Trump did, okay? If you remember, when the deportations first started, there was a big confrontation between ICE and illegals at a farm in California. And if I remember correctly, it was a pot farm. And the illegals, it was a battle. They had made weapons out of equipment at the farm and were fighting with these weapons. They were homemade weapons. It kind of looked like the A-Team went to the farm and built up weapons for them to fight ICE with. Remember that? And remember they had kids there working on the pot farm and everything else? And President Trump told ICE and told Homeland to not deport the farm workers. There's a lot of other people to deport first. And the reason he did that, President Trump, because a lot of people were plenty ticked. What do you mean? What do you mean? The farms are the easiest place to do the deportations. You just show up to the farm and that's it. Well, what would that do to food prices and the food supply? It would maybe cause a shortage. And this is what happened when this all was talked about at the time. If you deported all of the illegals on America's farm, it might shut down food production in the country. They've so overwhelmed those jobs around the country. I mean, what are the percentage of farm workers that are U.S. born or in the country legally versus illegally? It would and if the food supply was not interrupted, what would the prices go up to? It would cause a big economic problem. Their time will come, but there's a lot of other people to deport first. That's some of what happened with Mike Lindell with this interview. Some of it was an October surprise. They sat on the story till the eve of the primary, as close as they could get so they could do the damage. Because remember, a poll came out and he was in first place by 8 points the day before. I haven't seen any new polls since. So that was part of it for farm workers and some other industries similar to that in Minnesota. Another thing that happened with Mike Lindell was this, okay? And I looked through everything when I got off the air. I told you on the air yesterday I had not seen the video. I've not seen enough of the story, that I want to wait until I am informed about it to comment on it intelligently, okay? And with an informed opinion. The other thing is, the way primaries used to work, they don't really work this way anymore because of social media and how quick the internet media is. But remember when Nikki Haley was running in the Republican primary in 2024, she said something so stupid, but it was an old-fashioned, she said it out loud, it was a crazy thing she said. It was when New Hampshire was starting, Iowa was over, New Hampshire was next, and Nikki Haley said something like this. She said, "Oh, I love the primary process. You go to Iowa and you're conservative, and then you go to New Hampshire, you change all your positions, and then, remember that?" And the way that primaries used to work up until maybe President Clinton's second term, because that's when the internet really hit, right? Started to hit. And even they did it then, because you didn't have social media yet. But the way that primaries used to work is people would go extreme after some people that wouldn't normally vote for them, right? And then after they win the primary, they get back in touch with their party. This is a very common thing that used to be done by Democrats and Republicans before the age of social media. And it didn't get any coverage. Like, the one that's the most obvious that I always point to is the voodoo economics comment, right? Reaganomics is often referred to as voodoo economics, and that came from George Bush, the father, in the New Hampshire primary. George Bush, the father, was running in the Republican primaries against Ronald Reagan. And he said, Governor Reagan's economic policies are voodoo economics, and it stuck. And he became his vice president. That's how these things operate, okay, in the old days. So with Mike Lindell, it's a combination of those things, plus he's also an amateur politician. And a lot of people, when they're amateur politicians, they just make mistakes and say things. A great example of that was Carrie Lake. And I talked about this when Carrie Lake did this. When she was running for governor the first time, Carrie Lake said something to the entire press at a press event that was just, I was really pissed at her about it. And I talked about it the next day. It was stupid. So she's got the entire press. She's doing this press conference. And it's all Arizona media, and they all hate her, of course. And she said, if you voted for John McCain, I don't want you to vote for me. Well, every Republican in the state of Arizona voted for John McCain multiple times because he was in Congress forever. And I talked about that the next day. I said that's an amateur mistake. So, that's how these things are. Little tiny things that are meaningless and mean nothing. And if you notice, the people that called me yesterday, they were all liberals pretending to be conservatives. Now, after the show, I got to tell you, there were some people who just went nuts going after Mike Lindell on this issue yesterday. And there were a lot of people coming at me, trying to get me to disavow Mike Lindell. Well, let me tell you something. Mike Lindell has sacrificed for the MAGA movement more than most anyone else next to President Trump. He was raided by the FBI. Remember that at the fast food drive-thru where they seized his cell phone? His business has been devastated. Right? He was kicked out, not just out of the largest retailer, Walmart. He got kicked out of every national retail store. That's big money. He got kicked off of QVC, which he was at. He was on QVC all the time. He has, not only did he get raided by the FBI and harassed by the feds, the Biden FBI, okay? He has sacrificed hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars for the MAGA cause. So we're supposed to go out there and drop a guy because he said some things poorly, who sacrificed so much. Next to Donald Trump, who sacrificed that much for the MAGA movement? Just the sacrifice to his company alone. And when the financial hit of his, because I'm in contact with them. I'm in contact with his top people at MyPillow regularly. I talk to them every couple of weeks. They'll call me up and touch base with me, and we'll talk. And I've gotten to know them, and I've got a long relationship with Mike Lindell. Mike Lindell has been with us for, I don't know, 10 years or so. And you know how he became a sponsor? He followed me on Twitter. That's it. he listened to me. He knew me. I didn't know that he knew me, and I was very surprised at that. And my wife sent him a DM, and then I was doing spots for him like the next day or 2 days later. But that's how I became so he said something awkward that I would have told him not to say if I was an advisor on his campaign. But considering what he has sacrificed, I mean, how many business owners would do what he did, stand up for what he stood up for at the incredible financial cost that it's cost his company? Do you know how much money he's lost? It's been hundreds of, just with, not only was he in Walmart, he had the best shelf space in Walmart. Before Walmart kicked out Mike Lindell, they had the My Pillows at every checkout, at every register, at every Walmart in the United States and Canada. Do you know how much money that shelf space is worth? That's the most valuable shelf space in Walmart, the world's largest retailer. On top of the other things that he got kicked out of and everything, including QVC. So when someone has sacrificed so much for the movement, he has one verbal misstep that he talked about yesterday, and you're going to cancel him? We're not Democrats, right? People make mistakes. They say things awkwardly that they want to take back, and they shouldn't have said. I've said things that I regretted. I can't remember any offhand, but I'm sure I've done it. But come on, give me a break. Lay off the guy, okay? Okay, we'll take our break for the bottom. Now, if he was governor and did what Tim Walz did, look what Tim Walz did. Tim Walz, he's the governor of Minnesota. Mike Lindell's running for governor, right? Tim Walz pardoned a pedophile, an illegal pedophile. Remember, you saw this the other day. Now, Marco Rubio deported the guy, but he got pardoned by, now, if a Republican did something like that, it'd be another story. But a misspeaking on a podcast? Come on. All right. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll be right back.
It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. From the all-year cooling weather center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Carry the umbrella today right through the weekend. Good chance of showers and thunderstorms. We'll see some sun today, but high expected in the low 90s tonight. Clear the overnight low.
Hey, what's up? Good. Did you have anything in particular you wanted to touch on? Oh, I love it. I love those Stanley cups you gave me. Oh my gosh, I've been using them a lot. Yeah, it's got me drinking water again. Oh, this is good because I've got a blue one. I don't have a red one. See, look at this. What Joe just gave me. Awesome.
It matches the hat.
That's awesome, man. Absolutely. This is a nice one.
Yeah.
This is.
When Jenny ordered it, it came in. I go, Jenny, order me a large.
Absolutely. And made in the USA.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's a
right
real
there.
Trump order.
This is from the Trump store.
Yeah.
I can, because as you can tell, it's good material.
It's good. No, it's,
oh man, thank you.
I'm sure it's made in the U.S.
It is. It says right there, made in the U.S. All the Trump merch is made in the U.S.
Cool.
That's his. That's real. I appreciate it. That's really nice. That's really nice.
So what have you been up to?
Not much. Well, did you have anything in particular? Okay, because I'll bring up a couple things, and if you want, okay.
Same old stuff, man. Just rolling. Is that open?
No, it's just I got it off the hook.
Calls coming in today?
Yeah, but it's weirdos.
I was listening to you talking about seminars calls. And
The
then
fake
when you
callers.
explained it, I understood that.
Yeah.
They actually waste time doing that.
Oh yeah, they do.
My God.
And they all have the same script.
Yeah.
It's like they're like telemarketers.
Crazy. Totally crazy.
All right, come back after this.
So do you actually play any golf, or you don't really play golf that much?
Not too much.
We should get out one time.
I'm so bad.
So who cares?
It's embarrassing.
So listen, we all started out that way. That's how I used to be when I first started.
My friend, I got a friend of mine. He lives in San Francisco. You know, he's conservative. He's like, oh, he can't golf. He's like, I get invited to Pebble Beach and all these places, and I'm embarrassed. I don't go.
That's one
you know?
place if you're a golfer you really want to play.
Yeah. All right. I don't know. Joe Thomas is here. You were talking about golfing. I don't want to spoil my rep, and go. You know, if I go golfing with you, you'll laugh at me. You know, I was listening to your show this week, and you brought up a really good topic, and you were talking about people that are house rich.
Yeah.
Okay, and for most people, your home is your largest investment.
Yeah.
And by the way, that goes for people of all income levels, because the more money you make, the more expensive of a home. And you get to that point, and I know you're probably there, and I know I'm there, when your kids grow up and they move out of the house. You know, a lot of people, they downsize their house.
Yep.
So, you know, and that's when people really come into, oftentimes, especially here in Florida, a major windfall of cash.
Absolutely. And a lot of people are selling their house down here that appreciated double, and then they move up to Tennessee or North Carolina or South Carolina. And then, listen, I've had clients come in my office. Joe, we're selling. We're moving up there. We sold our house for $700,000. We paid $300,000.
Exactly.
And we're buying a ranch, literally in Tennessee, for like $250,000.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
20 acres. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I have a friend. He did a similar thing, but he moved up. I don't remember the name of the city. It's west of Jacksonville, and he got a house for under $250,000. That is massive, and it's brand new construction and a beautiful area.
Wow.
And he was living in a little tiny house here, and he had all this money left over. And he's my friend that called me up when you first came on the show and was telling me that he put his money that he had left over from the house into annuities.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So that's what a lot of people do.
Yeah, and so you get that windfall of cash from downsizing because your kids have grown up, or you move into another house. And a lot of people do crazy things like buy RVs and travel America and then realize that's a waste of money. But if you take that money and you put it into an annuity, you've got an income stream that's a pretty hefty one coming to you every month for the rest of your life.
Yep. Well, and it's the same thing. If you have a rental property, we deal with a lot of people who have rental properties. They'll sell them and realize that if they stick that equity in an annuity, well, maybe you're not getting $2,500 a month income, but maybe you're getting $2,250, and you don't have any aggravation.
Oh, and you don't have to collect the rent.
Exactly.
And you don't have to go and replace the refrigerator when it breaks, or the air conditioner when it breaks, or the ceiling fan, or the back door. And renters are a hassle.
Yep.
And listen, the thing with annuities. There's a couple things with annuities that are incredibly awesome. One, your money's never at risk, so your money's always safe. You don't lose any money no matter what happens at the market. But this revenue stream where you get the money deposited into your account the same time every month, and that's amazing to me.
Yeah, and everybody's different. Some people want that direct deposit monthly. Some want to put it off too, Brian. They'll say, you know what, Joe, I don't want to touch it. I want to let it grow. I want to let it cook.
So how does that work? Okay, so you got an annuity. Say you put $200,000 in an annuity. You don't want the monthly money. Where's the money go then if you don't collect it?
Just like you have a checking account or a bank. Well, that's a bad analogy, but if you have a checking account and it's building, but now it's building at 7 or 8%.
Oh, it goes back into the annuity.
It keeps compounding.
Oh,
so
really?
You're getting interest on your interest, and you're not paying tax, so you're earning interest on the money you would have paid tax on. It's tax deferred.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's a win-win for you. And you just have to know how these products work. And I always say to people, what's your goal? Are you looking for income? No, I'm looking for growth, Joe. I want to leave my money to my wife or my kids. So that's a different play. And then we talk about how that works specifically.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, a lot of times what will happen, because I know how these things go, okay? The kids panic because they don't want mom and dad to sell the house.
Yes.
Okay? And I get that. My mom has a nice house in Fort Lauderdale, which I've been trying to get her to sell for years. And I tell her, Mom, sell the house because I'm going to sell it.
Yeah.
But that's not a worry because the kids can get the money from the annuity.
Absolutely. If you leave your kids the money, it's incontestable.
Yeah.
That's a term you really need to know if you're buying an annuity. Incontestable means nobody else can get the money except the beneficiaries.
Yes.
So you have somebody, and I have this all the time with people who will have kids that had drug problems, big problems.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then mom and dad don't want to leave $1 million or $100,000 to their kid who will just put it up their nose, right? So we have annuities that will pay them out a restricted amount of money.
Oh, really?
Or exclude them so that a sibling can take care of the money for the kid. So we do things like that.
And they tell you how much that their kid needs every month.
Exactly. So they'll give them a minimum amount per month instead of this, giant
Windfall.
lump sum and then go crazy.
And this just goes to show when you call Joe Thomas and take advantage of your no-charge consultation, every situation is different. So tell Joe everything. Tell him what your situation is, what your goals are, what you want, why you're meeting with him, because it seems like there's infinite combinations.
There really is. And sometimes, Brian, as you probably know, we've talked about this, we do a combination. We might do an income one, you need income now, and then we do a growth one where their money's building. So you split your money.
Yeah.
We have sometimes 2 or 3 different annuities that are doing 2 or 3 different things.
Really?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Really?
Yes.
Well, there you go. Well, listen, guys, give Joe Thomas a call. The consultation is, of course, free. And if you can't make it into his office, that's okay. You can do it over the phone, through a Zoom call, whatever. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And you can also find his number on his website, jupiterjoe.com. And I'll just say, Friga, Joe brought me a great gift today, a Trump jersey, which I'm glad you got me the right color, because I have another one that's blue, which is nice. But this one's red, and it's from the official Trump store, which I knew immediately because I've got the blue, and the material is really nice.
It's nice.
And you got me the right size, too.
Yep,
So I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Well, thanks, Joe.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, I'll be wearing this. Absolutely. Are you kidding me? All right, so we're back. Give Joe Thomas a call. So, just to finish up with what I was talking about, there are the primaries that are coming up, and then we're going to be in the general election. And what happens a lot of times, okay, we're getting these October surprises I was talking about with Byron Donalds earlier, Mike Lindell yesterday. And what happens a lot of times, okay, and this is one of the things they try to get you to do, all right? They try to cause division right before the primary, get people really disavowing people, saying things and doing this and doing that, and then they're your candidate. Like, I'll tell you right now, the lieutenant governor of Florida, the only thing I know about him is that he is he's a nasty fighter, but he's so far behind, it's hopeless, okay? We've got it locked up with Byron Donalds. President Trump has endorsed Byron Donalds. There were things about Byron Donalds that he's not a perfect person, okay? I mean, selling weed to his friends in college, okay, I'd rather he did not do that, but so what? So what, Someone sells their friend a joint, you're going to say you can't, in college, when they're still a teenager, that's the end of them? Come on. And you want to give somebody the nomination who can't win or puts it in jeopardy? I don't think so. And you've got to be very, very careful. I give you a great example. Yesterday, the guy, there's I can't remember, his name's Sean Ferret, something like that. The guy that does the perfect Trump impersonation voice? Okay, he does a great Trump impersonation. He sounds just like him, and I've seen him do it to Trump. He went online yesterday, I guess he does a show. He was ripping Mike Lindell like you would think Mike Lindell had come out in favor of abortion or something. He was so out of control angry at Mike Lindell over this thing that happened. So then it gets cleared up later in the day yesterday, or at least clarified a little bit. So what happens if he wins the primary? You're going to cancel someone? There's a lot of people that are recovered liberals, okay? And recovered liberals, especially the younger ones, they still have that a little bit of that cancel culture in their blood. And they hear something and boom, they're after him. Sometimes you've got to sit back and wait and find out what's really going on, okay? And then if somebody, I'll give you an example of somebody that screwed up just 2 weeks ago. Look at Mark Wayne Mullen. 2 weeks ago, Mark Wayne Mullen screwed up big time. Big time. right? He ordered ICE not to stop illegals at traffic stops, right? And I was plenty ticked about that, and I did a whole show on it. Before the end of the show, Trump came out, rescinded the order, and corrected everything. Just like that. Boom. And we've all forgotten about it. We've all forgotten about it. Nobody's holding anything against Mark Wayne Mullen anymore. He made a mistake. Right? So that's that. Now, before we go to the gold report, I want to talk about Dr. Appleton. You know, Dr. Appleton, I think every time I talk to you guys about Dr. Appleton, I think about what my life would be like if I never met Dr. Appleton. I don't know, I might be sitting down in a wheelchair in front of this microphone, because he's not only rid me of pain 7 times, he rid me of rough pain. The shoulder injuries that I had, 3 of them. The arthritis in my hand, my knee injury. I would have had all those pains. I would have had all those accidents. I would have had the arthritis. The only difference is I'd still have it. I'd still have the pain. I'd still have the arthritis. And I don't have any of those pains, because Dr. Appleton not only rid me of pains when I went to see him, he rid me of pain forever, because none of the pains have returned. Give Dr. Appleton a call. Remember, the consultation is free and appointments are not necessary, even on Saturdays. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll take a quick break and be right back.
The Cold. Right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Hi, Tom Breyer. We are Porter Roofing, a family business since 1983. You are our customer. In other words, our boss. We are here for and because of you, not the other way around. The 2026 rainy season is upon us. Because we haven't had a hurricane in 2 years, all the storm chaser roofing companies have gone out of business, leaving only the strongest and the best contractors. At LaPorta Roofing, we will never sell you a roof you don't need. We don't have salesmen or commissions, so we will never pressure you to sign a contract. Also, deposits are not required. At LaPorta Roofing, you will always come first. We must earn your trust, and we will. So call me on my cell at 954-604-4602 or find us on the web at laportaroofing.com. That number again is 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, or on the web at laportaroofing.com.
Hey, it's Brian. Okay, I got the gold report, and then I'm going to have to... Yeah, it's Brian. Can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me? It's Brian. Can you hear me?
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, and we're back. It's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with our final gold and precious metals report of the week. William Youngerman, how the metals looking today?
Slightly up today after a nice drop yesterday, giving us a great buying opportunity at the lower end of trading ranges. Gold closing yesterday down $80.80 after trading in a range of $4,039 to $4,142. We closed out the day at $4,048.60, which was down $80.80. Silver down $2.06 yesterday, closing at $57.53. Platinum lost $46 at $15.91, and palladium was down $40 at $12.36. All this within the trading ranges that we've seen for quite a while now, with the summer doldrums here. Overnight, we saw gold trade in a range of $4,021 to $4,065, and right now gold's at $4,054. That's up $5.40. Silver up 72 cents at $58.25 the ounce. Platinum up $9 at $1,600, and palladium up $1 at $12.37.
Yeah, so those that can't make it into your shop can, of course, do their transactions over the phone and through the mail. Can you tell people a little bit how that works, William Youngerman?
Certainly, you can call us anytime between our hours of business and lock in a price of the metals that you're interested in buying, and wire the funds, and they're shipped out the very next day. Or you can come in and walk out with the metals. It's easy. Just call, lock in a price. We'll tell you how much to bring a check for or whatever.
That's right. That's right. And people do that all day long. All right, listen, give William Youngerman a call. He opens up at 10 a.m. His number, 800-327-5010. 800-327-5010. Or stop in. He's located in Boca, just east of US 1 Federal Highway, on the south side of Palmetto Park Road, on the first floor of the Bank of America building. The address is 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. And you can find both his address and phone number on his website, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk on Monday.
Okay, have a nice weekend.
All right, take care, take care. All right, now I wanted to mention this story, which I think a little too much is being made of it, but at least it's being talked about. This vote in California where they're talking about ID and things, and then they change the wording on it that'll stop U.S. citizens from vote. Let me tell you, President Trump is dethroning the political establishment of both parties like nobody's business. I mean, the Democrats and the Republicans. And when these establishment people in both parties are backed into a corner, they do all kinds of crazy things. I remember years ago we had an issue in Broward County. Remember when the Boy Scouts, which no longer exist, by the way, the liberals destroyed the Boy Scouts, but when gay scout leaders were it was a debate, and it was the gays won, and now the Boy Scouts are no more. There was a vote coming up with the Broward County Republican Executive Committee on whether or not they were going to support or condemn the Boy Scouts of America. Now, the idea that single men especially gay single men, would want to be Boy Scout leaders is insane to me. I mean, what would people think if I wanted to go be a Girl Scout leader today, right? My daughter's grown up. She's not in Girl Scouts. You'd think I was a creep. Yeah, that's what creepers would do. It was so bizarre. But the Broward County Republican Party Executive Committee was about to take a vote to condemn the Boy Scouts of America for not allowing openly gay men to be Boy Scout leaders. And we got wind of it, and we did a show on it, and it turned out we did several weeks of shows on it, and we went to, it built up to the big meeting, and it was at the Marriott Cypress Creek in Fort Lauderdale off of I-95, Cypress Creek Road on I-95, place is still there. And the whole executive committee came in, and they had a guy who went on to be a United States senator, was the head of the Republican Party in Broward County at the time. And we had gotten people so worked up that we were going to win the vote. The Republican Party was not going to condemn the Boy Scouts, which seems kind of crazy that the Republicans would do that, the pro-family party. Well, what had happened is they had this group of log cabin Republicans. Log cabin Republicans are it's a gay Republican organization. It's a national organization. Lincoln lived in a log cabin or something, so they call themselves log cabin Republicans, or the gay Republicans. And there was a big gay Republican who had donated a lot of money to the Broward Republican Party, and that's why they were going to condemn it. But we had everything locked up, and we were going to win this vote and everything else. And then right before they took the vote, they changed the wording of the vote. And the way it worked, so the vote was yes or no, the Broward County Executive Committee support the Boy Scouts of America. They changed, right as they announced what the vote was, and they changed what the yeses and nos were. They reworded it. Yes meant no, and no meant yes. But they told everybody that 30 seconds before the vote, so of course the gay activist won, and the Broward County Republicans condemned the Boy Scouts of America, which is crazy. So how does that relate to what's going on in California with this story that's in the news today? When you see the political establishment, Republican or Democrat, playing tricks like that, that's the beginning of the end. That's a man hanging on by the tips of his fingers on a ledge, okay? And they're not going to make it. It's the guy on the back of the Titanic as it's going down, hanging on to the back. It's over for them, and they're doing little kinds of parlor tricks to try to hold on to power. President Trump has broken the back of the Republican and the Democrat Party establishment, and they're not coming back from it. They're not going to come back from it. It doesn't matter what they do. They're going to pull all kinds of tricks. They're going to have a few Democrat socialist victories in November because they've got some safe seats in New York and all that stuff. But the party is over for them. So don't let that get you upset, because if we don't get the Save America Act through this year, it'll happen in January or February. It'll be one of the first things that the new House and Senate do. It'll be done, and these people will no longer be in power, and it'll be over. And that's it, you know. And Lindsey Graham's funeral is going to be next week, okay? And that's going to be a big turning point, because his sister is now the senator. She's going to be running. She's going to be very high profile. And I would imagine, you know, she said when the governor appointed her, she said she wanted to finish the job Lindsey started. Well, the last job that Lindsey was working on was passing the Save America Act. In fact, his final words to President Trump right before he died was, "We've got the votes for the Save America Act," remember? So that's what they're going to do. And it's some sophisticated politicking. That's one of the things they did to get Obamacare through. Ted Kennedy died, and they used the Obama and the Democrats used the death of Ted Kennedy to get some sympathy towards Obamacare. We may be using Lindsey Graham to get us over the edge and get some to force and embarrass really some people into supporting it that don't want to support it. But that's just what you do. It's going to happen. That's why I don't worry about it. You know, when we had the 4 years of the auto pen and Trump was out of office, you guys that were listening then, I never had a worry. And let me tell you, I feel the same way with this. We're gonna get this passed, and it's just a matter of when. That's why I'm you know, a lot of times people are so just angry about these different issues, and there are things that tick me off, and you'll know, and I'll tell you. Like, I was very angry at Mark Wayne Mullen, you know, with that thing last week or the week before. But I don't have a worry about the Save America Act, because I know if it doesn't pass this year, it'll get passed either in January or February. It'll be one of the first things that happen, but it very well could happen this year. But Lindsey Graham's funeral is going to be a turning point. He's going to probably lie in state, right? There'll be more than one event. There'll be more than one funeral. There'll be one for the country and then one for the family. And his sister is going to be elevated politically, and she is going to finish the work of Lindsey Graham, which was the passage of the Save America Act. Now, I got a text message from Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. Guys, if you have not already made a reservation to join us on our MAGA cruise in March, you want to call Ian today, because now, you know, if you go with us, we have an incredible deal on our group rate, because we organized this cruise before the ship was even built. It was in the construction yard. They laid the keel, and we made, we got our group space when the ship was being built at the shipyard, okay? So we got a great deal. And I've been telling you about the summer specials. There is an additional special in effect for the weekend. So it is on top of our group rate, which is incredibly low. So if you call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot today, I'm going to give you the number in just a moment, you are going to get an incredible deal. Now, we're going on 4 stops on this one. It's still a week-long cruise, but we have 4 stops. The Bahamas, Nassau and the Bahamas, the Cayman Islands, and we have 2 stops in Mexico. And these are incredible places. And those of you who have, years ago, on one of our first cruises, went to the Blue Lagoon, we are returning to the Blue Lagoon. And let me tell you, when we went to the Blue Lagoon is exactly that. That was one of the most exciting, fun days of my life when we went to the Blue Lagoon. It really was. My daughter was with me then, and we had our great group. And those of you that were there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is a paradise of a place. We have other things planned too, but you want to call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot because this weekend special, he tells me, is very, very, very good. When you call, if you get his voicemail, leave your name and number. He will call you back, okay? He's a concierge travel agent, and he deals with every person one-on-one, so he might be on the phone with someone else, okay? Here's his number, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. That's 561-244-5779 for Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. Join us. It's also the 50th anniversary of the show cruise as well. All right, well, that's all the time we have for today. We'll be back on Monday, and of course, live on Monday, and we've got a lot to cover on Monday. You know, I didn't talk about Iran today, but I'll just say this as we go to the end of the show. Obviously, what's going on, I think it's obvious, right? We had 12, is it 12 or, I'm losing track. Was it 12 or 13 nights, this last bombing run? President Trump he's all but told us there's going to be a massive, the largest campaign we've ever had against Iran. And everything they've been doing now is to just destroy whatever they have left that could shoot at us. So there's a major, major military campaign coming up. It may be over the weekend. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you Monday morning at 6 a.m. Until then, God bless America, and God bless Donald Trump. See you then. All right, guys, I got to